What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
Oh my goodness. What
Whew.
a finale. What a finale. Welcome to everyone watching. We are four dudes who just love the show The Peacemaker and wanted to get together tonight and talk about the episode, talk about the season, and maybe have a little conjecture about what could be next. But I will throw this out there to start. One of the things that's great about this show is it's self-contained and it's not about teasing what's next. It's just about each show completes itself and then gives you a little bit to look forward to. So I think that'll be fun to talk about. But I want to welcome everyone in. I'm a dude. I'm hanging out in my nerdery. We have our first time guest tonight because we've been doing this for a few weeks straight. We got Nate Bowden. What's up, Nathan?
I'm just here, ready to talk.
Nice.
I got the day off, so.
Have you watched this last episode at least?
Oh, I watched it 12:30 last night.
Right on.
Nice.
I was sitting at work, so I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, I gotta watch this. I was about to watch it again, but didn't have time.
I did get in 2 watches. I got early this morning and then before my involuntary nap. And want to introduce Dave from Dave's Dimension. What's up, dude?
What's up? I was able to catch a few. I caught the episode during my breaks and lunch today. I had to break it up. And then I watched it again just before we started tonight. So I had to do some dinner. I'm doing some videos. So I said I have to watch it again. And I did catch a few more glimpses second time around.
Nice, man. And thanks to Dave for hanging out last night. We probably made about 20 offerings to the Toy Gods in 2 hours between Dave, myself, and AJ from Third Floor Toys. So thanks for hanging out, man. That was fun, just getting through the piles of shame. although I will just show, if you look down here, the piles of shame are still there. It's just, we made a good dent.
I still have all that Black Series back there, man.
Dude, it's like we opened so many, but it was still like it's just like a dent. I want to say what's up to Rick at Leftcoast. What's up, dude? Future Peacemaker villain. I love it.
I'm gonna say I don't think you're supposed to be telling anybody.
Got a little roommate down there.
Spoiler alert. Oh, what kind of roommate is that? A cat?
Yeah, it's a cat.
Is that Caddy?
Nice. What kind of cat?
Just a freaking cat.
Just a cat. Nice.
A tabby cat, I guess.
Ooh.
Awesome. I love cat. I'm a cat dude. I love cats.
Caddy versus Eagly.
Kind of always had some kind of pets and had cats because I live in apartments and condos and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's hard to have a dog.
Yeah, I love all animals, but yeah, I've just always been a cat person. I love cats.
I might get an eagle now.
I want an eagle too. Let's check in with chat real quick, and then what I thought I'd do is I thought I'd pull up hbomax and then share screen, and then not obviously we can't like show and watch it, but like I can. I mean, dude, the 17 cents I'd make off this video, I'm not too worried about. Well, but it's more of like just showing like here's a frame, and then maybe talk about like the sequence and the frame and stuff like that, and we'll see if that works.
I don't think that'll work. I've tried that with Netflix and HBO a couple times before.
Oh, it doesn't work.
Like you get the caption in a blank screen, but you can try it. Depending on
we can just talk through it. My thought is we should just we could talk through the show linearly, like kind of as it went through, and then because otherwise it's just four dudes. We're like, and then you saw this, and then you saw this. But I want to check in. What's up, Mikey in Houston?
And when she said this,
go, Mike.
Fabulous is here. A little plug tomorrow night. 3 Men and a Monkey Lizard, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and that would be midnight UK. Fabulous, I believe, is going to be on tomorrow night. So we're excited to have you.
Nice.
Come check us out. It is on the Salacious Rums channel. What's up, Troy? Dude, you binge watch all of it. I got to tell you, that would be a fun. I think I want to do that. Is watch all 8 like in a row like that. That would be a fun Saturday or Sunday afternoon for sure.
Oh yeah, it'll happen.
It's gonna happen. I've watched each episode 3 times. Except for the final, I've only seen twice.
It was that good of a season, start to finish, and I think now we went back to episode 1 and watched a couple episodes. We would see.
Yeah, me and my wife.
We would catch on to a couple of more little jokes or.
It's very layered. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah, me and my wife were doing that. I told my wife, like, even before this last episode, I told her, look, you got to watch this. You got to watch this show. And
I mean-
we last weekend we watched episodes 1 through 3. And
Yeah.
like we just blazed through it, and it
Yep.
was like, and I was itching, like I was scratching. I'm like, oh come on, let's keep going, I'm like, we don't have any time, so next time we watch it, it's gonna be like the last.
We had jokes from
5.
episode 1 pay off in this episode.
Yep,
Technically
that's right.
Yeah,
speaking.
dude, that's how well layered it was. The one of the most well layered jokes was the "we don't name our genitalia." Well, when Mern said that, like, dude, that took 5 episodes to set up that joke or whatever, and it landed so perfectly. And that's part of the genius of the show. Is it's layered, but it's not making you wonder. Is that Mephisto? Is that Mephisto? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, much
it's,
like
What?
the beard guy joke that went on for
Oh
first
yeah,
couple
that
episodes,
was from the first episode. Yeah,
and then
And
they
then
kind of closed it, and then it comes back in the finale in a
Yep.
touching moment, actually, right?
So,
yep.
so Rick, is that your costume for Halloween this year?
Yes. Oh,
I want to say hello to Rolando. All right, we'll get through the chat and then we'll start and maybe just go from the opening. Let's see. I want to make sure we get everyone who's in here. Yeah, Rolando just finished. Nice, Troy. Yeah, dude. I'm excited to watch it start to finish. Even though I've seen him 3 times, I agree with what everyone's saying. I think once we watch it, but I want to start with like the opening scene in the truck, and one, it's just kind of funny and immature, but the best part to me about that opening scene was when he just looked at her dead cold and was like, I trusted you and your apology isn't going to make up for what you did. Like the way he delivered
Cold.
that line was, yeah, man, I like that. I don't know what you guys thought of that as an opening, but
No, you're like,
it was cold. Yeah.
No, yeah, I was like, come on, like you really going with this? And then like how he ended like the whole thing, I was like,
yep,
wow, I was that hurt me, like it touched me.
Yeah.
like I was like, oof.
now,
well, I was genuinely mad at Leota. You not the actress,
yeah.
but you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I was mad at her, and I felt like she was going to have to do something extraordinary, and we'll get to what happens. But like I felt like she would have to do something extraordinary to kind of earn everyone's respect back for what she did. And so once we get through the van, obviously you got the opening. By the way, if you guys watch Screen Crush, he actually did a breakdown of the finale, but he broke down the opening and the dance moves and the symbolism behind the dance moves as you went through the season. It's actually about the character arcs in all the dance moves. The way he broke it down, I was blown away. So don't watch it now if you're watching us, please. But like when we're done, definitely check out Screen Crush.
Well, it's funny you mentioned like the dance and everything, because I'm watching the dance. And I'm like, I had a WTF moment when, there's a scene where he like does the pose with the gun, and then you see his father. I was like,
yes,
oh,
yes.
One of the foreshadowings we never saw, right?
Dude,
Oh,
the whole dance when he breaks it down is all foreshadowing the entire season. So next season, if they change the dance, like we're
for sure, yeah, it's art now. Now we got to look into it, right?
Wow.
There's more foreshadowing, but we'll talk about. There's a certain scene that happens that kind of interconnects with the dance intro, but I won't bring it up now. I'll bring it up at the end.
Yep. Oh, and by the way, like if you're watching, this is full spoilers. Like there's
we're
not.
There's no warnings.
Yeah, there's no, but it's just a courtesy. If you haven't seen it yet, don't.
Band-Aid is off.
Spoiler alert.
When you guys clicked on here, the Band-Aid got ripped off. Okay.
Exactly.
No,
it's a social contract at this point.
I think I saw that same Screen Crush or Screen Rant video where
Screen Crush, yeah, Ryan already does that.
And then at the very end, Eagly comes in and does it, and then all the people just do
all the people do like the little eagle on the back.
And I never saw that the first 10, 20 times I've seen that dance show. So.
Dude, I didn't notice that. The only thing I noticed each time was like, if you've ever seen like a Broadway show and you see them do a routine, at the end of the routine, they're all like trying to stand still, but they're huffing. And I noticed that they were that they did that. And I always thought that was funny, but until he pointed that out, I never noticed the eagle thing at the end, man.
I didn't.
Dude.
Very small and subtle.
So the other thing I read, I forget the actor's name, who plays, now I'm blanking on his name. Ninja Man. What's his name? Oh my goodness.
I saw him on Twitter.
Judo Master. Good grief. supposedly he's like hidden in scenes in the dance, and I each time I'm trying to watch and find him, I still haven't been able to find him yet. But supposedly, like he's like hiding in the background and stuff.
Okay.
But I got to tell you, so once we got through the opening and they get out of the truck and they're prepping for the mission, I genuinely felt anxiety because like I thought someone might die in this episode, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then as they're prepping, but I love the whole scene with Eagly and then all the different helmets. And,
Yeah.
and I kind of thought we were going to get the scabies helmet. I'm okay that we didn't, but like because they
That's
kept
the
teasing
only
the
one not
scabies
used
helmet.
yet, but it's still there.
It's totally going to get used at some point. But dude, it totally cracks
I want
me up.
Economist. I want John to use it.
Yes,
'Cause I think that would be
perfect.
funny. Like he gives everyone on the team scabies, just perfect payback.
I do hope we see all those other characters on the Peacemaker show in the second season, whether it's they each or a cameo or however it works out.
They
I can
have
see
to,
them,
right?
I can see them moving on, but I can also see them just continuing on with the characters they have. They've established themselves. It's very popular, so maybe just having 7 brand new actors might not be the best thing, but hey, it's not us writing this really good TV stuff.
I trust James Gunn at this point. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whatever his vision is for season 2, he's earned my trust.
If I'm HBO, I'm like, here, fill in the numbers.
Yep.
Go ahead, just fill in the numbers. It's you.
Well, I think with James Gunn, it's going to be like, because I think his next project is going to be the last Guardians movie before he
Guardians 3. Yeah, he's filming it now.
I think he's kind of doing that now, but I guess it's been stories that he's going to do a spin-off of another character.
I think he's doing that.
I think for the Suicide Squad, it could be was it the rat?
The rat girl? Yeah,
rat girl,
that was the rumor. The rat catcher girl or whatever.
Yeah. Dude, might get another DC superhero movie that's no one ever thought he'd get, right? Like I'd rather called up to do something.
I could see him doing Plastic Man, and I think it might actually be good.
Yeah, that's the thing is I don't want him to do Batman or any big character.
No, I think it'd be a new character that's never.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if he's gonna do something, because look at Guardians. Like that was an offshoot comic.
For
that
sure,
it was like almost like a throwaway comic.
There's also
what I mean?
A rumor, I don't know if it's confirmed yet, about the Wonder Twins being an HBO DC show.
I think that's confirmed. I think I saw that was confirmed. Yeah,
that could be.
Want to say what's up to America's Most Wanted? What's up, dude? Thanks for hanging out, buddy.
Yeah, he says he's on episode 2. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I was talking because me and him did a stream a couple hours ago, and I was telling him, dude, if you come by, just let you know it's gonna be a spoiler, so you better watch it.
Nathan, you and I might have to do a stream with him so he can have some therapy because he's got nobody to really discuss it with now.
It's really good to discuss it because you talk to your friends. Oh, have you seen it? You're like, no, I haven't watched it, and you're like, fuck.
Oh, did you catch this part? You're like, no.
I know you need such an outlet for it, and so I love like the helmet scene with Eagly, and then he's like, Eagly can do it, and I love when he turns on it.
Eagles are smart.
Like just totally like yells at her. And then he takes the helmet, and the look of like on everyone's face is like, "Oh my god, he's gonna do it!"
I know you don't like the angry blonde woman, but
oh my god, that was so funny.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like Eagly he did it just to spite her. Like,
I think he did, man.
Like I think he really did hate her and was like, "Look, screw you."
And let's be honest, kids and animals are very sensitive to things that are going on. Not just physically, but emotionally. Maybe he picks up that, Peacemaker's got a little thing for her. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to do what you say. Maybe that's why he doesn't like her. We can read a little bit into that.
But I love.
Well, he might not trust her yet because they might not have like developed. You know what I mean? Like she and him haven't like interacted positively. You know what I mean? They might not have developed yet. So
speaking of that, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I love how finally on his gun he got the dove of peace put on.
Yeah, F and peace. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, he's like rubbing it. He's like, yeah. It's like now we can do something. Now we can.
But he didn't kill anyone that wasn't an alien. Like it's at that point now where he's not.
Yep.
killing
Yeah.
Well, that's
someone
part of
unless
his
they're
whole
bad.
character arc. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he didn't end up killing,
Goth.
Goth. So
Yeah.
like he
Yeah.
figured Goth is not an enemy or a bad guy. Like
Switzerland.
Let's not skip ahead.
No,
We got to build up.
But-
We got to build
but-
up to that.
So, in the forest, they're searching for the helmet. He starts seeing his dad.
Yes.
Now, I'm thinking, is this going to be kind of like? Did you guys ever watch the show Dexter?
yeah,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
know what you
Remember
mean.
there was that, Dexter's dark passenger was his father for all the years, and then when they brought it back, it was the image of his sister. Is this his guilt and maybe his conscience kind of trying to bring a representation? Because right where his father was standing was right where the damn helmet was.
Yeah, that was done on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about another scene where his father appears. I don't want to jump ahead, but could this be? We're gonna still have Robert Patrick, on the show.
Oh, totally.
Oh, yeah.
as
Oh,
that kind of-
definitely.
I think that's
either
also a
a
big part of
spirit
his,
or
Peacemaker's
something
character
mental.
development. Is
mental in his head.
Well, that's
So-
I think that's his mental issues that he's still
Yeah.
working out. Like that's his crazy side kind of in his head, and it's his dad is, but it's like his dad is still messing with him, still effing with
Yep.
him.
But is it more of him processing the trauma of what happened and he's seeing him, or is it more that the dad did something with the helmets, or you know what I mean? Because the dad's obviously a technical genius,
It could be
right?
a mixture. It could be a mixture of both. But I think it's more. I think it's more kind of psychological.
yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah.
But speaking of psychological, one thing that dawned on me, and this never clicked until the beginning of the episode in the van. Vigilante basically is a surrogate little brother,
Oh God, yeah.
and it never really clicked on me then because the whole fart thing, that would be my brother Tony and my little brother Steven, because Steven was kind of like the runt. He's like, okay, it's dead. No, it's finished. Come on. No, it's not funny anymore. Stop.
Oh
it.
yeah.
I'm
Oh
like,
no, yeah. That's the little brother.
yeah.
That's the little brother
Oh,
syndrome.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't skip it, Mikey. That's wrong.
Yeah,
Mm,
Mike,
never.
10 push-ups
Never.
for skipping the intro.
Never.
There's
Never
some
skip the
shows
intro.
you can't
I,
skip the intro.
I almost did, and then I saw it, and I was like, yeah.
With respect,
I
why
kinda
would you
have to
skip
watch
the
it.
intro? I mean,
Yeah,
the
like, I
intro's
can't-
hilarious, and the song. Let's be honest, the song rocks.
The song's a banger, dude. It's an all-time banger.
It's
Yeah.
got to be what 40 seconds, maybe less than a minute for sure. I think.
But you get
Yeah,
you get so into
It just kind of
though,
lines you up for
forget
the
how
show.
long it is. Yeah.
And
It does line you up for the show. Like, yeah, there's some intros where I'll skip, but yeah,
Most of
not
them are
that.
I even watched
And-
the credits at the end. Like I've been doing that for many
Well,
years.
because you got great music at the end of the show always.
That
great
too,
music
and-
and the outtakes and bloopers. I mean,
Yep.
it's,
But those are like next level type outtakes because it's not like it's like extra footage that's not.
it's
like-
Right.
it's like
it's
James Gunn
actual-
said, okay, we have it. Now I want you guys just to go off the rails.
Right.
Yeah,
It's not,
make
it's,
outtakes,
it's not
you know?
teasing. It's
Why
not
don't-
teasing something.
I-
You know
I
what I
hope
mean?
They
It's
released an
yeah.
hour of that. Like
But
if
it's
they're
not-
doing a Guardians of the Galaxy
Whoever that
holiday
actor is-
special, throw in a little 10-minute, 15-minute,
Oh yeah.
trailer or a little mini
I think-
movie before of just
Like
all these extra scenes
Little
from
Groot?
Peacemaker, just for
I mean,
fun,
I could see them doing like when they do the DVDs or whatever, the Blu-rays, they do like a little extra bit where it's just a side thing where it's like an extra, where it's like
Yeah, they-
15 minutes of it.
If they
They've-
do that, because they don't do that with everything anymore.
Well,
Like
Yeah,
they've,
no, that's
they've
true.
already been doing
They
like
download it.
little episode of behind the scene kind of things on HBO. So I mean,
oh
I
yeah,
could
even on
definitely see-
Twitter
yeah.
over the past hour, they were
Oh.
having their little after party, watch party on Twitter where they
Mhm.
chat back and forth,
Yeah.
and they were sharing
Nice.
lots of little clips and behind the scenes pictures and stuff that they took, and so it was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
James
But
Gunn
the-
and the crew are actually doing their own watch party on Twitter.
Mm.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
the
Usually it's not at the same time as us, though.
right.
No.
Hell no.
Well,
Different.
the,
It's 7:30 or so.
the
What were they
thing
thinking?
the thing that makes me think though that there's something about the helmet was where he saw his dad was right where the helmet was.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was
Mm.
just symbolism or if there is
It was,
something tied in because James Gunn again is good at layering and like foreshadowing things. So like it makes me pay attention to the dialogue and things. And so what his dad was saying was like, I'm in your head. Like it just makes me think that
Yeah.
there's.
I think he said
and
that word for
again,
word
it's
at some
probably
point.
both,
That
but
the
yeah, I think
more he wears the helmets, it was kind of like maybe his father's brainwaves were programmed to trying to kind of like brainwash him over time. But you see a lot of Peacemakers kind of like breakthroughs, or his emotional breakdowns are happening when he's not wearing the helmet. And let's be honest, he really hasn't worn the helmets
No, not
that
since
much.
first episode.
Yeah,
That's the first
No, he
episode,
was
really.
wearing them all the time, and then little,
Slowly,
Well,
was
and
kinda
the
like
other
Boba
thing in the
Fett.
dance, there's a motion where he's motioning, where they all motion him taking off the helmet
Yeah.
as part of the dance. So I think there is something to that whether it is just true symbolism and him breaking away, but I want to, there's probably some layer to that helmet, which, because Robert Patrick was so good in that
Oh my
it would be a shame for him
'cause
not to be in the next season somehow.
He wore a mask, right? His dad wore a mask. PJ wore a mask. Vigilante wore a mask. Beard guy dyed his beard. Spoiler alert. So they all disguise themselves except for Byrne and.
Well, no. Myrn was a mask.
And the girl put the
Myrn
helmet
was a
on.
costume.
Myrn's body. Yeah,
Myrn was a butterfly.
Yeah,
So
so that was his mask. So Hardcourt was the only one who really.
No, she was hard as nails on the outside, but she really has feelings on the inside.
Yeah, so that's her mask. Yeah, that's
it's still pretty hardcore, and I think even at the end of the season, it's still the most
opened up a little
hardcore character they had, right? Like the
she
word
opened up a little
badass.
bit. Well, she was opening up a little bit towards the end of the season.
Sure, she was.
Yeah, exactly.
She took that picture of the crew when they were all in the van a couple episodes ago. So
well, they always say,
right?
The quietest ones have the deepest thoughts and emotions going on internally. You know what I mean? So I think that's her.
True. Yeah, that's me.
But I'll tell you the part that made me laugh, or I can't remember the exact phrase, but he's like, a secret of the superhero community is that nobody talks about is people shitting themselves when they die. He's like, he goes, I don't want to wear diarrhea pants. And he said, who said they're diarrhea pants? And he goes, but no, they're diarrhea.
Hey, but at least he washed them.
Yeah, dude, but that's the thing. He washed them. Like that's good character building.
I mean, come on. In the beginning, would Peacemaker have washed them for John?
No, hell
no. He would have gave them to him just the way he was and laughed while he was giving it to him. But yeah, no, it's that part.
You're Diebeard, wash it yourself.
No, that part where he like got on the costume, and I was like, oh, this is where oh my god.
I know, dude. I was so stressed. I was so stressed they were gonna kill Economist.
But then I'm also
all dying at some point, like at each scene or whatever, what things were happening. I thought, we might have lost that character. Oh, maybe this one. Oh, this one's next. Then of course, it didn't happen, but they did make you think at one point. There's a couple of points in this show where I was like, what's the decision here, or what's the outcome of this situation? Like, it could be this, and it ended up being that, right? So that was the best part.
They kept you on your toes
over all the other 7 episodes, but they had a couple of call them decisions or outcomes that they made us, the audience, think, this could happen.
I mean,
so that was great. I thought.
Let's be honest. We all thought that someone or maybe a couple someones weren't going to come through.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And you know that it's good storytelling when you have not the main character or even the sidekick, but Economist who, is part of the main group. But literally, I'm sitting there. I'm like, don't kill him. Don't kill him. Don't kill him. Like, he deserves better than this. Don't kill him.
I thought he was going to be the one first.
Like, I totally thought he was.
Oh, trust me, I thought he was.
Zombies are getting him or something, like.
But then, like that
feeling.
But that whole part where he goes into the shed, I think that was kind of like that was the turning point for me with him. Like, it was part of it was when him and Peacemaker kind of connected with music.
Yeah.
But then, but that whole shed scene,
it was. This was his character driven. His scene, like this was for him.
I was just like
development as a person in this team, right? So that was really good.
Yeah.
And it's like, and he said, it's not not Godzilla. What do you call those?
Kaiju.
Another
Kaiju.
kaiju. I know,
Yeah, he's like
Yeah,
another
yeah.
kaiju. Yeah.
Which he said in the Suicide Squad as well.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing with that whole scene was it economists each time that they needed someone to step up, it was him that did it, and then he kept not no one kept giving him credit. Like he saved them with the gorilla, he saved all them with all the hillbillies and
he caught Judo Master.
Yep. Yeah, he got judo. So you think about it, like he kept coming out of nowhere and saving everyone, and then but he never got like the credit and the adulation it deserved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then in the end, once again, he's asked to do the impossible task, which was quite honestly the hardest task, to walk through all the butterflies and act that way. And yeah, man,
they set it up, that scene with him. You know, here, put the costume on, go to the barn.
Mhm.
You're the only one they won't recognize. They set that up very comically. Like there was 3 or 4 jokes right there, right before, you know, his dramatic kind of moment walking in and trying to be undetected and being confronted by, you know, the butterflies twice, I guess. But it was good because it was very funny leading up to that scene, and then it became a kind of a dramatic scene.
Well, I think that was the thing that got me, was like
emotional.
That whole scene. Like, we all know that scene usually in a lot of shows and movies will be played super comedic.
Right.
Especially with someone that's heavy set and you know, and is not the star of the show. But that was Economist's time. Like that was
dude.
That was his big breakthrough moment. Like
well, his only way out was to be honest with himself in that moment. And acknowledge, and then the part where they cut to Peacemaker, and his reaction, and you could tell, like you could really tell he was like, oh man, I did this. It
wasn't just Peacemaker. It was like you could see everybody around Peacemaker,
the whole team,
kind of just like look at Peacemaker, like holy, like
dude, you were a major dick to him,
but none of that. But they were all complicit in it. Like, because they all, you know, it's kind of like when the bully picks on someone, and all of them were.
Everyone just kind of like goes with it, and that's the hey, would you just stop it?
Yeah,
you know, Hardcore could have done that. Even Mern could have just said, you know, just cut the shit, just stop it, and just he's a person, you know, just stop it. But yeah, it's like that high school mentality. One person's doing it, so everyone else that's near that person is just kind of join in, unfortunately.
Well, and the thing that's so brilliant though is whenever you have a scene like that where you emote with the character, right? You fully empathize and it's touching. He always layers in just like a little piece of humor at the end, like when Peacemaker is like you know, praying over Eagly and then he hugs him. Like that was such a hardcore scene. And then when he tries to take the selfie, right, it's just that little bit of humor at the end. So when he's walking away, he goes, "Yeah, I should have spent more money for Revlon." Like, you know what I mean? It's just like,
and you knew it was coming too. Like,
dude. But it's like the scene was meant to evoke what it evoked, right? But then at the end, it was just like you just get this like one little liner that lifts you up.
You see it coming, but you don't know how it's going to come. But you know it's coming.
And it makes it a little funnier because it's usually not a super duper funny thing. It's just a little bit enough to make you like, oh, okay,
like some levity.
That's funny.
It's like if it's so serious that you're about to start crying, but then something funny comes out of it, and you suck the tears back in your head, and you're like, okay.
Well, they're not tears; they're face exercises.
Face exercises, yes.
We did see some tears
with sweat on your face. My only thing was like, come on, you're already there. Just put the bag further down. Like, I understand you're freaked out, but you're almost there.
But in that situation, like, think of how your heart would be pounding just to get.
Oh no, trust me, I'd probably be in the same situation. But I'm just saying I'm just saying from looking outside in, I'm like, you're almost there. But no, if that was me, I might not even made it down the stairs. I probably would have thrown it down there or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to blow up by throwing it, is it? But
yeah, it's just, I don't know.
But
she was ready to go as soon as he was away from the barn far enough.
Yeah.
from whatever her idea was, because no one told her. She was ready to voice activate it, right?
Yeah.
Well, but the thing
And-
is, like, and again, this is where this, the writing and the storytelling is so good because you're stressed the whole time about him walking up to the barn, and then he leaves and he gets confronted, and you go through that big cathartic scene, and then you think he's in the clear, and then all of a sudden the dude comes up and he's like, "Hey, he left this down here," and then you're like, "Oh my god, they are going to kill him after that."
all that,
And then they all pile
And then
on
it's
him
a
like that. And
zombie
you're just
chase.
like,
Oh.
"Oh no, dude, don't."
I totally thought he was gone there.
I thought
on
he
the
was toast.
pylon.
Yeah.
I thought he was toast.
Yeah. I was like,
But-
wow.
And the funny thing is, after all that, he tries to hop over a fence and breaks his damn leg.
I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead again there.
Oh.
I'm like,
Well,
the
that's-
zombies are gonna get him.
I mean, I thought at that point, all right, Peacemakers.
Hey,
It's just gonna be
he's done
Peacemaker
this.
and
He's
Eagly
done
after
this.
this.
He's done this. He's done this. Tries to hop over a little wooden fence and just breaks his leg, bone piercing out the shin.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And they set that scene up too. Again, it was
Oh,
back. They're like, "What are we gonna do? We gotta go." And she's like, "Okay, let's go." And they were setting it up like the music was going, and they're ready to do something. And then, shit! Like he broke his leg, like right there. And I'm like, "Oh no!" Like,
Well, I had a
what's
feel.
the worst thing that could possibly happen? Like,
Well, see, that was the
Like,
thing.
you
I had-
survive all that, and then
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
walking over a fence.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's the most.
I thought he was just gonna trip over it and
Yeah.
just trip over it. I didn't realize he was gonna like break his leg and like almost die from
I
it.
think he's gonna come back all buff next season and be like, the muscle
Yeah.
on the team.
hey, you
That'd
never
be
know.
fun.
We'll see.
Yeah, watch.
We'll
Well,
see.
and
That was all
also
just
like
prosthetic. He's
with-
really skinny. Yeah,
that-
with gray beard, with a gray beard.
with a great.
all natural gray. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, my other thought too that I had is Vigilante have some kind of superhuman capability because he's been blown up,
Well,
he's been
yeah, no
stabbed,
shit.
he's been shot,
In-
and he just
In the
kinda
CW
walks
show, he
off.
did. In the
Oh, did
CW
he?
show,
I don't know
got shot
anything about
again.
Vigilante.
in the CW show, Vigilante had he was hit by the meta wave that created the Flash and all these other heroes.
Mm.
Oh, okay,
And
that's right.
and he had a regenerative ability. Like
In the
in the
Arrowverse.
CW show, he was like all kind
Yeah.
of scarred. His eye was almost no vision, and I mean, he had kind of a badass looking suit. But this guy was like he could heal from bullets and cuts and everything. Like he had a slow kind of almost Wolverine like regenerative. It wasn't instant; it would take some time, but yeah, he could heal over stuff.
Interesting, yeah, because
So I think
just
they alluded to
feel
that
like,
in this.
yeah, okay, yeah, because it hasn't been overt, but it's like, man, he keeps surviving all these things, somehow, and
Here's
yeah,
what
He
they
jumps
do.
out the window in the one scene that we see. It's like,
Yeah,
They're
the
still
end- yeah, he just
continuing
jumps
that
out the window.
Arrowverse somehow, aren't they?
Yeah.
Isn't it still going on?
uh,
There's
no.
a female Arrow now, or something, or there's some.
there was a pilot for it, but it wasn't taken to series. But they've brought the character back in a few different CW shows, so there's still
Yeah.
hope for it to come back.
Because I heard they're gonna do maybe more HBO stuff than CW
Yeah.
stuff,
I mean,
which
I
was
hope
all
so.
the stuff that
I
was
hope
really
so.
made here in Vancouver. But it'd be neat if they brought that vigilante character into.
well,
say,
he was
the
killed in the
Arrowverse or something
he was
for-
killed in the CW show,
He was okay.
Arrow.
So
but they did a whole multiverse kind of reset, so they could still have another version of that.
they
character
totally
with someone
did. They
else.
went to Earth 1, Earth 2,
Well,
Earth
Yep.
10.
Well, just
shit,
think.
right? So-
Well, just think about this though, because in the CW show, or was it CW or in the Batman vs Superman, they had the two Flashes from the two universes see each other.
that was the CW one.
That was the CW.
Yeah.
The
was-
old Flash
that was
from the old
before-
TV show.
Well, yeah,
Well,
but,
no,
that show's still
But they
going on.
had Ezra Miller meet
Yeah.
Grant Gustin.
Yeah,
So those
Ezra
two
Miller,
Flashes
too,
got
yeah.
to meet
but that
before. That was
but that
before the whole
means-
multiverse went kaput. But then it got
Mm.
reset in a different kind of way. So that was kind of I get
Well-
what Nathan's saying. So
well, and then
I
we
think
had
they're allowed to do anything with the correct handshakes and
yeah.
and permissions and credits due where it's due to get to be able to do those kind of little cameos, if you want to
because
call them, or
I mean that
Easter
whole
eggs.
well that crossover that they did they did scenes of people vanishing from Titans, Doom Patrol.
Yep.
What's the other one I'm thinking of? Titans, Doom Patrol. Was it the Cloak and Dagger show that I think was on like
No, that's,
Hulu or something?
That's
They had
Marvel.
a bunch of people like kind of vanished. They had the 1989 world of Batman.
Yeah.
Because you had the reporter, blanking on his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Played by Robert Roll.
Robert Ulrich.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that's
So
what
I mean,
I love
anything's
about what
possible.
they're doing now in this Flashpoint movie.
yeah.
He is going back to 89 or that era where his mom died, and we see like the Michael Keaton version of Bruce Wayne or Batman.
There's some audio of Michael Keaton now talking to him.
So that's cool. I love that.
But the only reason I say that
for one scene.
But the only reason I say that is because
thing.
we already know that it's all in the same universe, but after they did the whole sonic boom, on the barn, and then they went down there.
Don't worry about it because it's all comic book universe. So
but it also
can happen, right?
We see it ties in the episode later.
Oh yeah,
it's fun when it does.
Definitely.
I was like, wow, they cursed. All right, cool.
So the thing that I and then I also thought they killed Harcourt.
No,
Oh,
now when the butterfly flew in her mouth, I thought, man, because that was one of the things in my mind was like, what if one of them turns into a butterfly?
Yeah.
Like, what would the dynamic be? Would Peacemaker not kill them somehow?
I thought at one point in the show, Peacemaker was a butterfly for like a quick.
That's what I thought too.
For a quick second, I'm like, oh damn!
But
he wasn't so right.
The whole thing about Harcourt, we had a first. That's the first time we saw her and Peacemaker fighting together. Because there was always everyone. It was like him and Vigilante usually.
Yeah, usually.
Or it would be Harcourt with John or with Adoa. It was they never worked. This was the first time we saw them actually fighting together. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But
the shield was badass too.
The shield, the symbolism behind him using the shield
shoots
for
at
the
it
gun,
and it cuts into the wall.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was loving it. I'm like, I'm looking at the shield. I'm like, tell me that's razor sharp, and then it was. I'm like,
well, and you know what? And not to fully rag on the Book of Boba Fett finale, but if you look at how this was choreographed and blocked in the cinematography, you didn't have slow motion, you didn't have people spinning and jarring cut. You know what I mean? Like seriously.
Yeah.
No, but this again, the spin wasn't the bad part. It was the fact that they put it in slow motion and there were 3 cuts within the spin, and each cut started the spin at a different point, and the people were blocked differently behind them. So you're watching it, and I'm like, just the cinematography was so poor in that. Yeah, no. See, to me, that's a crutch for a lack of good cinematography. When you use Zack Snyder uses so much slow motion because he thinks slow motion is an idea. You know what I mean? And it's not. And so that's the same with
a film.
Like another director uses lens flare.
Right, exactly.
Would John Wick do that?
Yeah.
Would John Wick do that? I don't think so. So don't have a
John Wick would spin, but he would spin real fast in one take.
Right, and it wasn't in slow motion, and it wasn't cut in different angles jarringly. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's like a B movie, like the way that the finale was directed. I loved it. Again, I loved it, and it made me there was so much great stuff that went on there. But the cinematography and the choreography was just so poorly done.
I'm pretty sure it was a callback to either Desperado or an earlier Rodriguez movie, because I'm positive I saw that on
El Mariachi, maybe something
like
that.
He used it but he used that 3 or 4.
I think he's done it 2 or 3 times in movies.
And
done it several times.
And after a while, you're like it, but it doesn't. If you look at every other director's style for Mando and Boba, his style doesn't fit with the rest of the show. It's jarring compared to them. So if you just watch the fight scene in episode 5 with Mando and the Darksaber.
Yeah.
The Mando Darksaber fights, there's no slow motion, there's no weird cuts. It's it's perfectly framed and blocked, and it moves from segment to segment. Whereas imagine that scene when he ignites the Darksaber when he goes to get the bounty. You know what I mean? At the beginning of episode 5, that would have been slow motion and spins and all. You know what I mean? It just the way that she paced
when
and
he ignites it. If it went slow and maybe you see this angle, then this angle, warming up. That would be
exactly.
Cool. That would be awesome.
I'm just between Robert Rodriguez and Zack Snyder. I'm good on slow motion.
I think they're trying too hard in a way.
It's over. It's abusive. J.J. Abrams' lens flares are abusive. You know what I mean? Again, it's when you have a lack of cinematography, a lack of storytelling, you overcompensate with
I'm
those things.
I'm sorry, dude. I have to tell you, J.J. Abrams is doing a 4th Star Trek.
I
So
saw it. If he's directing it, I refuse to watch it. I will never watch another thing he does.
I actually
again.
liked
I
those
refuse.
movies. I thought they were cast well.
The first
Yeah,
one was
yeah.
okay. Like the first one
I liked
wasn't
the last
bad.
one. The third one was really good, I thought.
The second one
haven't
where
seen the
he
third.
bastardized Wrath of Khan for no reason. Like there was no reason to remake the Wrath of Khan and just do it poorly.
No,
Like,
they said
it-
there wasn't.
again-
They said there wasn't Wrath of Khan. They said there wasn't Wrath of Khan before the movie
It-
came out.
Right,
It was.
but they
was.
wrapped
Oh no,
around
I
it
know,
for
I know.
no
Yeah.
reason. But the third one, he didn't direct. I think
Yeah.
James Wan directed that, and that was the best
That
of
was
the three
awesome.
because he didn't
Oh.
direct it. That's why that was the best one. But anyway, so yeah, with Harcourt with the butter, I'm like, okay, so she'll be the butterfly, and I love that Leota comes and just rescues it. She just shoots it point blank.
I was almost hoping for a butterfly to save Harcourt. I didn't want Harcourt
Right.
to die.
No,
No?
I didn't want her to die. But that's what I thought. That's what I was sitting there wondering. I'm like, okay, so if she's saved by the butterfly, then does Peacemaker save all? Like, because then if you kill her, the only way to get Harcourt fully back is, I guess, to kill her, right? Like, because once the butterfly's in, you can't unbutterfly
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
So it's like,
There's a
would
way
then
to poison the butterfly itself but save Harcourt.
or
Just-
does like because of her memories, does that butterfly then just like
get
have an
altered
agreement with
enough.
Peacemaker? Yeah, alters it enough to where then she's altered permanently and she has like butterfly powers or something. But I'm ultimately like I like what they did, that they saved her at the end and all that. But like when he goes down, and I really liked it, like he goes down and he totally gets taken out of it immediately. And then it's up to everyone else to kind of come in and finish what they're doing. And I really appreciated the misdirect where they made it look like Leota was pulling him out, but it really was Goff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like I thought that was neat, like a really neat misdirect, and then symbolism for Goff pulling him out of that. I don't know, would you guys think of that?
That caught me off guard, and then the whole thing about Goff saying, "Well, I need you." I'm like, okay,
It was a very good scene, and she did really well there. I appreciated that scene very much.
What's up, Dino?
Season, I think that
Yeah,
was
this
one of
is
the better-
spoiler. This is total spoilers, Dino. Total
Yeah,
spoilers.
Dino, spoiler alert. It was the one scene this year that put me closer to tears, and it was for good reasons. It wasn't for sad reasons, so it was pretty neat to have that feeling. And then he dealt with her right.
Yeah.
In a good way, he dealt with it.
Well, no, he dealt with the host.
Yes.
Because he looks back.
Yeah, he let her
he
go.
did that on purpose.
Shot her in the chest too.
He purposely did. He killed the sheriff, but he purposely didn't kill her.
He did. Yeah. Shot at him.
Yep.
Because he realized that Goff wasn't necessarily evil. They kind of had motivation, and
she was right. Just their method. It's like Killmonger. Killmonger was 100%
exactly.
right. It's just he took it too far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Killmonger made T'Challa change his whole mindset because T'Challa realized, man, he's right, and what I'm doing is wrong. But the way Killmonger's doing it is Killmonger's not right about how he's going about it. And I think that was this. But I also think that Peacemaker saw what she was saying directly correlated to his vow, and how he realized like his vow was good, but the way he went about it was wrong. And then if he went in with them, he would be continuing to make the same mistake.
As soon as she said vow, I'm like, okay, that's where they're going with this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot with that, but also like,
and holy cow, she said too. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. But look at Peacemaker, like going back to one of the early episodes when he talks about Batman. Batman doesn't do any good because he just puts people away, but then they break down and they hurt people.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same thing with the butterflies. They want to stop humans from destroying their own world because they want to live there too, at least for another 100 years or so.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of symmetry, so it wasn't that far-fetched. Like, okay, we want to explain things to you like we did with Judo Master. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, because remember they said Judo Master was not a butterfly, but
Yeah.
But he knew
So-
He worked
the
with
reason.
them.
but I always thought that there was, it wasn't as cut and dry, right? Because there's always layers to this story. But the thing is, when she's saying what she was saying, I'm like, you're right, you're right. Like everything she was saying was 100% right.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, you can't take away people's choice to
Free will.
to be better. Yeah, you can't take away free will, right?
Yeah.
And
Did you guys think Peacemaker was gonna side with them? Because I was seriously thinking
yeah.
I thought for a second he was a
yeah.
butterfly.
Oh, totally.
No, yeah. I
When she
truly
said, "You're
believed
just
he was
like us."
like when she touched it, I thought, yeah, he must be a butterfly, because I was like that's where we're going with this.
For a second, that's exactly how I saw it. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's what
So-
they're gonna do.
But then having that whole like them realizing that they're like that's like friends almost, like
Yeah.
when he realizes that Golf really appreciated everything he
They're
did
connected.
for him when he was in the jar.
yeah. And then
I
he
was like,
just rocket launched his second best friend, cannonballed or ran right by everybody, right?
For a second time.
She kind of deserved it, though. Let's be honest.
She did,
And what-
dude. Again, she had to atone. Like, so, like
That's
there had to be a way for her to atone, and that was it.
Bringing it back
But
to the first time
I
where she did it
acknowledge what-
herself, she
I wanna
should have
acknowledge what-
died hitting that wall.
Oh, she totally would have died and
That
shattered,
was
yeah,
harsh.
her whole vertebrae.
Oh.
I want to acknowledge what Mikey and Houston said, and this was something I thought maybe it could go,
Yeah.
but the cow almost looked like a prisoner being tortured.
Yeah.
And I wondered in a sense if there would have been like some sympathy for the cow, and maybe we save, like, we're not going to save you, but I want to save the cow. You know what I mean? But I mean, that maybe would have that's where maybe the show would have got convoluted to try to add that error or that extra layer. But I love that he rocketed her right into the cow, because that, like, when he did that, I was like, all right, she's now like, she's atoning. Atoning for her
I'm sure he had
sin.
other options too, like other weapons or guns.
No,
or-
but I think it was purposeful for him
No,
to be
oh,
like,
yeah. Oh,
you know what I mean? And I thought
Oh,
it was
yeah.
fair. It was
To
totally
turn her
fair.
into a bullet, basically.
Yes.
But yeah,
Such a best friend.
no, I get I get what Rick's saying.
But it was
like
a metaphor too, like
know,
that she
like
was
a
a bullet at
humane
that
way of ending the cow's life. Like, like, oh, you're just gonna blow it up. But if it was anyone else, maybe they might think, okay, let's find another way to put it out of its misery. Like,
But that was, in a sense, that was her cleansing away her sin, like getting bathed in that cow's blood. It was very metaphorical that she was
Cow
bathed in
goo.
blood at that point. Dude, when she dropped out and just the shit was all falling on her, I was like, oh. But I
would love to see
that.
I would love
doesn't
to
say
see a behind the
anything.
scenes of that, of like her.
Oh my god, totally. Dude.
I'll ask my
hope
buddy
they give
Dave
us-
if he knows the recipe of the gut.
Well, dude, you know what I
nice.
want to see? Give us an hour of behind the scenes of Peacemaker, of
Oh,
like special
absolutely, yeah.
effects, of like, I would totally be down for that. But like, the thing
Throw it
is,
on
I love that
YouTube,
he,
whatever.
I love when he walks up to her. He doesn't say anything, doesn't acknowledge what happens. He just helps her up, and it was kind of like, we're good. You know,
Yeah.
like, it was just like, okay, we're good now. I just
Yeah.
shot you into a space cow.
And well, they do have that scene later on where he's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
But
Exactly, Mikey.
But yeah, when so then they're leaving and they're all limping out, and he's carrying Harcourt, and it was such a cool imagery how they're all limping out together, and then again, I'm not picking on the Disney shows because I do genuinely love them, and they have different rankings, but like I'm so grateful for them, and the Marvel and the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
But Disney's formula is every week doesn't pay off, but it's teasing what the payoff is going to be, maybe next week, but definitely by the end, right? And it leads to this cumulative, like cinematic orgasm for every Disney show. Like the last episode has to, and if it doesn't like fully blow your mind, it's a letdown. But they've created that model, right?
yeah.
Whereas Peacemaker, every episode is self-contained and like a full meal. And then you look forward to what's coming next, but I don't need to think about what's coming next to feel satisfied, right? Like I'm satisfied after each one. And so when they're leaving and walking away, I wasn't like, who's coming? Like, I felt like it was done. And then we'd have kind of the end, just the tying loose up, whatever. But then the cameo, it was like, it was just like, it was like the cherry on top that I wasn't expecting. And I didn't need but it was
The
perfect.
the
It was
fact they
perfect.
got
Oh, it was very
Jason
good.
and
It was
Ezra to
perfect.
come in.
That was
Well, they're filming their own movies right now, right?
well, yeah, but
Yeah.
I think
Probably here. Yeah.
they're the only two that are probably saying, "Hey, yeah, I'll show up in there," because two of them aren't even playing their roles anymore, and then
Yeah.
you know,
And well, I love
Well,
that
they
Jason Momoa was just like,
They
I
purposely
I
showed
really wish that rumor would stop.
those
Dude,
two
the
characters
fish rumor
because
was
they have the next 2 movies coming out.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're promoting their own content.
Right, of course.
Because
Yeah, they're already in
Yeah.
costume and promoting
the
their movie,
Batman
which
that is coming out is not their property. It's it's another DC universe. if you
it's a
wanna call it
different.
that. So
Yep.
they didn't show him, and there's no upcoming Superman movie that's planned.
No.
So they just
Well, I
Yep.
mean,
silhouetted him.
they shadowed
and
and
just
they had a little
silhouetted
bit of
Wonder Woman.
flair to cover up Wonder Woman's face.
Yeah,
in a way.
which
Oh,
which
yeah.
honestly, I could care less about any of the Snyderverse. Like the only movie I
Yeah.
actually finished was Wonder Woman, the original Wonder Woman. I thought it was
the only
all
good
like
one.
bad to just complete garbage across the board, like every single one of the DCU movies. And but that cameo was awesome. Like
It
just
was
the way
very
it was
good, yeah.
filmed, it was subtle. They showed up late, and Peacemaker called them out on it and made.
Yeah.
And the one liner to Aquaman was just perfect, dude. Absolutely perfect. And I love how Aquaman. Like I love that the response and the banter afterwards. Like I thought that was fantastic.
It's like, fuck
It
you,
was
Barry.
Like I
It's
could have,
true.
I could have almost. They didn't even have to have Momoa and Ezra in there. Like if they had just shown them come down and
In
Peacemaker,
silhouette.
yeah, in silhouette, and Peacemaker just
That's what I thought it was
just
originally.
like
That
flip,
we're just gonna see shadows and they're gonna walk
Yeah.
by, but
That's what
Just
was
have-
meant
just-
for us
just
to
have-
that's really
believe,
them.
and he just have them just flip them off and
Yep.
say
It was
something to him and
perfect.
then walk off. I would have been fine with it. But
Again,
then to
another
have,
great setup. You
yeah,
don't know it's coming, and then
They
you're like,
they
"Oh,
could
that's
have
enough."
even
And then
they
it
could
gives you a
even
little
had like a
more.
Batmobile pull up and just have like and him say, oh, fuck you, Batman or something. Not even see his
Yeah.
face. They could have done something like that, but I think
Yeah.
it was just enough. And nobody saw this coming out of left field. I think
But the thing is, the show didn't need it. You know what I
No.
mean? Like it was so fulfilling and self-contained versus like a Disney show where you do need Boba riding a Rancor, where you do need Luke to show up. You know what I mean? Like to feel like you got
It
fulfillment out of it.
definitely
Yeah.
did help, and it probably
Yeah,
brought
it
this
took it.
episode up to
Yeah.
like that 9
But
or
I-
a 10 out of
I
10
just-
because of that little
but with them showing
piece
up,
of candy. Here's a little piece of candy for you too.
but with them showing
Thanks
up,
for watching.
just made me go, okay, so Amanda Waller has the Justice League's number. Like I know there's a scene where they
Right.
show Batman talking to Waller in one of the movies or whatever, but
she
it's just
probably rang up
hilarious.
Batman. Yeah, she probably rang up Batman saying, "Hey,
But-
we got
but it's-
a serious thing. Can you send a couple of the members our way?"
But it was
You know,
just,
it was
to me, it was
probably a
just
deal
funny
like that.
She just like, yeah, okay, hey, can you come over? There's some aliens attacking and some
And he
cows.
called out the Arrow too.
Oh
Yeah, they called out Arrow. I was like, damn.
Going to
Oh yeah, he goes to what do you
BronyCons
say,
with-
BronyCon?
BronyCons. Open,
And the best is Economist was like, no, that one's actually true, and
Yeah.
Aquaman.
yeah.
That's
I'm
so
just-
good.
Now, let me ask you guys. Episode 1, did you heard him talking about Aquaman and making jokes about the Justice League? Did we ever think we would actually see the Justice League
No, not
actually
at
all.
pop
all.
up in a damn episode?
No.
No,
I
not at all.
I actually thought there would be some chance of a Jason Momoa.
Yeah, especially with
cameo.
the fish joke in
Just-
the first episode, and we actually
Because
get the
why
payoff
not?
at the end.
Like I actually thought, why not? And when they showed the silhouettes, it was the one actor that I'm like, you can see the long hair and he's buff as fuck, right? And like
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
he's gonna be. They're gonna show him. He's gonna say something
Yeah.
or gonna show his face, and they did. They're both kind of looking back, and they clearly showed his face before they had dialogue, and then they had dialogue, and it just showed them. It just showed them like on the screen. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes, man! They're actually making a joke even funnier because they're calling out James Gunn's joke, right? And I thought that was
Yep.
I would love to see.
fantastic.
I would love to see an interview where so you guys showed up in Peacemaker. What was that conversation? How were you approached?
You could have just
You know,
phoned it in, right? Like,
Because
it just, like,
Momoa's
did it
got a
on
great
the-
sense of humor about himself, so I'm sure he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it. It sounds
Yeah.
like fun." You know?
he's single now,
My only thing is,
and I'm pretty sure they're both here filming right now too. So
Yeah, I
or
wouldn't be
were
surprised.
here last year when they were filming that.
But even with the special effects that they've had in this series, I'm sure they could have filmed that if they're somewhere else and just used that as-
Soundstage. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Would
I could
do-
easily have seen
that's
that.
my question.
And even
Did
even
it
the
look
silhouettes
like
were
anything?
enough.
They
But
were
even the
really good.
silhouettes were enough. Like if all they had was the silhouettes and Peacemaker throwing those 2 bombs out, like that would have been cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and again, I just go back to if the character arcs are fulfilling, if you have good storytelling, good cinematography, those type of things aren't needed to make the show good, but they add that like next level to it, right?
Yeah,
And
they
that,
do, and it shows
yeah.
you're here to play with the big boys.
Yep.
You can afford to do this.
Exactly. And then, so you end on that, but then like it keeps going and then you get into the hospital. And I really love that conversation between Leota and Peacemaker, man. I thought that was pretty cool.
Next
between
thing,
the two of them.
that's a lot to
you're my
her.
best friend. Don't tell V.
You're
Yeah,
my
don't tell him.
You're my second BFF after Eagly.
Yeah.
And then Vigilante just sees what's going on in the news, right? In a hospital, like he was refusing at first until he, passed out literally in the hospital.
He's
I
like,
think
"I'm
for
good."
the second time he's passed out in the hospital. But yeah, they just jumps out the window like, pew! Like how was this guy must have some kind of ability, like
there has to be.
He wasn't on the first floor. He was higher than so minimum second floor.
Yeah, he does have. Yeah, he totally does. Well, and the fact that like
he's only
like
been there like 20 minutes.
But in general, if you have a gunshot and you're there for 3 days, you're not just jumping
I
out
would
the window.
think so.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I think
I
he got hit
on.
twice though. I think.
Yeah, I think he took a couple, and she took one.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
because she said to Peacemaker, "Oh, you've been there for days." I heard
you've
so
been
then
there
I
for
thought,
days,
okay, so Vigilante was probably there for a couple of days too, maybe before he jumped out the window.
And I'm sorry, dude, you have to wait until season 2 for your music moment between those two.
I know, but you know what? But listen, I also think that the fact that they didn't hook up is part of why this show is so great, because you don't need to pay off like every single, you know what I mean? Like the moment at the end where he holds her hand, I think was way better than if they hooked up. Like I
hopefully
think,
you've seen
because
this Blu-ray.
But I think
he saw it earlier today.
Oh,
he
okay,
messaged
good.
me.
But I think it also shows in the character arc of Peacemaker that like that
too, 'cause
like
she
that's a
cried
level
there.
of intimate. But for him especially, that's like a level of intimacy that like has shown that he doesn't have. You know what I mean? And for that moment, I thought that was the fact that he was waiting there. You know what I mean? And like how touched he was.
But I think
there was no joke. There was no joke afterwards either.
But no, I do think I think it's same for both of them, because I think they're both don't have any level of intimacy, any kind of connection
trust.
to anybody. Yeah, trust.
And maybe together they make a whole person. Kind of
I
mentally.
think they will
socially.
be together, dating or being friendly right away in the season 2. Like that'll be the one person he's in connection with or in touch with, or
I think the whole
maybe
the whole
even
team,
having a relationship, right? But I think that
the whole team has to come back together. It works as an ensemble.
Do you guys think Economist might have been
too,
taken
right?
over?
I think he went back to what he was doing before, right? Working.
No, I don't think he was at all, because the
one thing I was worried about was, okay, we see Peacemaker coming out of the ruins. Economist has his leg all wrapped up and somehow bandaged.
And he was walking. It looked like he had a splint on it.
I mean, if Harcourt was passed out, which he pretty much was, Vigilante was just kind of like, he was knocked down, then he's like walking around. There's plenty of time the butterfly could have got into him. I'm just wondering if that's
possible.
a possibility. Because we see him go back to Belle Reve.
And he was walking.
And yeah, he's walking.
Well, but he had help. He had his arm around somebody as well.
No, but even going back into Belle Reve, he had like a cane, and he was still pretty hobbled.
But I mean, like we just see him kind of like sit down, open up his case. He's got his laptop. He's got the picture from the van.
fracture. Like we saw bones sticking out.
Yeah,
like they made sure it looked bad.
But we didn't really see like
to that.
I don't know, like he really wasn't conveying a whole lot of emotion. So that made
it's a good call. It's a good call out. Maybe that did happen.
It's an idea, it's a thought, but who knows? Maybe it's just like he's just kind of like strains over the whole adventure, over the whole mission. It could be that, but I'm like, that's plenty of time and opportunity that a butterfly, because remember, you have to hit a butterfly perfectly. There's plenty of times where there was chest shots,
right?
Not necessarily headshots.
That's a good point, because now I
there's
want to watch
possibility.
that-
So
watch this episode again and look for other butterflies or
because
other
I'm just trying to figure
that
out
weren't
how
to the
did
head
he get
escaping from people, because they
would
came
he
from
be
somewhere.
okay? Yeah, would he be okay enough to bandage his own leg? And where would he get some of that stuff? So just it's a little
The only
weird, I
reason
guess.
I didn't think so was because when he smiled at the end, and his smile wasn't
fake. It wasn't fake. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, because going back to that later, but who knows? I mean, they could do anything with it.
But you shouldn't be able to walk with a compound fracture like below your knee, like zero pressure
right
at
after
all.
the situation.
Yeah. And
but I think these shows are so
way.
self-contained. I don't see them bringing that thread into the next season. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he kind of finished that and then it moves on. But the I really
could
like
apply to be his stunt double.
There you go.
So we'll see.
I did really like though just the ending sequence of him sitting there with Eagly, and then Goff flies in and he pours Goff some of the fluid. And
the last of the fluid that we know of. So they have to go find some more.
The cow is dead, but she's there.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's trucks with some.
There's a bunch of fluid, so maybe he has some. But because I wouldn't mind Goff living somehow and just being there and a part of it.
I mean, because we know that there's still more butterflies out there. They showed they're
really
all over. They're all over the planet, so they had to like ship some out to other places because there was only one cow. So
and I'm wondering why
that we know of. Anyways.
Judo Master was sad at the end, like
because he believed in the cause.
Shed a tear, but he's not a butterfly.
No, but he believed.
Right, but he believed in the cause.
Is he? Okay.
No, he's not. No, he believed in the cause. And I love that he's crying while eating flaming hot Cheetos.
Eating Cheetos, yeah.
And I mean, it could have been, like him crying. Maybe he's crying because the Earth isn't safe now, because he thought that they were going to be the way to save the Earth to prolong it, and now the Earth is going to be doomed like their planet was. So, but it's going to be interesting to see if we see more of Judo Master.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, he's totally going to
fight them every time he sees them. I think that's his role.
Because I don't think they
show up and jump out of somewhere. Wow!
I don't think they would have shown him at the end if they weren't going to bring.
That's another thing.
Of course, you're right.
Exactly.
Remember in the intro, Peacemaker picks up Judo Master, almost kind of like picking up a child or picking up a butterfly, if you will.
Yeah.
He joins the team.
So I mean, I can't wait for the next season, because I mean, if they did this in season 1, could you imagine what they're going to go and do season 2? Because HBO's like, okay, we're gonna sign off on this, and oh wow, look at the reaction! Look how people are loving it. I mean, who thought that we would love an oversized eagle as a pet?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were emotionally invested with Economist. We were emotionally invested with Mern. I mean,
they look and they see if it's trending on Twitter and shit like that. Like, I'm sure it is, right? So
I love how the actor who played Mern did that little piano piece on Instagram and Twitter.
Saying goodbye.
That was like his little farewell. Cool. I mean, it's pretty. I think it was pretty cool.
He acted very well in the show.
He was awesome.
Needed to be played by someone who obviously had some serious acting skills, and he pulled it off because it was very good.
The scene where he's explaining to Leota about like he inhabits this awful person and has to live with their memory, but he also lives with the guilt that he took away that person's chance to redeem himself. Like, that scene was amazing. And then supposedly he's playing the High Evolutionary in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Which,
Ooh.
yes, I was like, whatever he's playing, I can't wait to see, because he's now like one of my favorite. Like, he was just amazing as Mern. But if he's the High Evolutionary, that's
after this, and obviously when Guardians comes out, I could see him getting a ton of roles coming out.
Oh, he should, dude.
Just like, I think
High Evolutionary.
Yeah,
yeah, dude.
Just like
100% can see him in that.
just like Cena. I mean, I can see Cena getting a lot of offers now because
Oh,
now they can
dude,
see that
yeah.
I think so,
he
too.
is funny. I mean, he was funny in that one movie.
I can see him being like another Terminator or taking over some of the roles that Schwarzenegger would have probably continued.
No,
to
he's
take.
got
I'd
more
rather-
range than
No,
Schwarzenegger.
I'd rather.
He's got
I'd rather
way
s-
more range.
He's better. Like if he does like, I don't want to say super comedic, but like funnier, maybe more actiony type movies. Like because his comedic timing is phenomenal.
Is so good.
Yeah, that's what I
His
mean. Like
serious, but his serious
Schwarzenegger
timing is so
had
good
to
too.
do
Like,
that timing, right? That was
Yeah.
all he was really capable
Don't
of
hate me,
doing,
guys,
but
but
it worked.
I would love to see him
made him
do
a
an
star.
update. Have Cena do an update of Last Action Hero. I think that could be pretty funny.
I think they
That
could do
would
an
be
update
good,
of
yeah.
any Schwarzenegger movie, just because he
yeah, but
has
see, I
the
think he
chiseled,
deserves better
physique
than.
of.
But I think
similar
he deserves
characters.
better than redoing Schwarzenegger movies. I think and again, I love Arnold. I met Arnold, I think, when I was around 10 or 12, and I still remember it. They were filming Red Heat in downtown Chicago. We took the L down there, waited on the set all day, watched
Robert
film.
Davi, yeah.
And he saw us, and then he waved to us because we were waiting. And then at the end, he came and he goes, "Walk with me, boys." And we walked with him to his trailer, and he just talked to us, and he took a picture with us. He was like so nice. And when you're 10 or 12, you're meeting Arnold. Like,
that's awesome.
yeah, dude, blew my mind. But like,
Down.
again, and this is not a disrespect to Arnold because I love him for what he is, but Cena deserves better than remaking Arnold's old
No.
movies. Like, I think Cena should have his own trajectory because he's shown he has range. He has the comedic timing. He can be like super like angry and serious and forceful, but then he also displayed like a lot of vulnerability and character growth in the role. So I think he can do more than just that and do different things.
That was the thing. The Last Action Hero, there's a lot of comedy in it, but then in a part, Schwarzenegger actually comes to terms with like, I'm just this character in the movie.
Yeah, all
what about my life?
Had comedy to them because they
knew
because you couldn't take him seriously to a point. And that's the same with The Rock. The Rock is very pretty to look at. He's a specimen of a human, but he's in that same kind of role.
He plays himself in every movie.
Because when you're so much physically bigger than 98% of the living universe, right? Like, and you're charismatic and you're funny and you have a history in athletics, whether it's wrestling or bodybuilding. All these three people we're talking about all come from that background, and graduated into like acting and promotion and speaking, and that's what they're good at. Like, none of them are going to be Oscar nominated,
but
leading men.
I think Cena.
Movie.
I think
but they'll be
Cena
the highest paid forever.
is here. But I think Cena's here and The Rock is here. Like,
I wouldn't even put them on the planet.
I would not even put them in the same class or category. The Rock's movies are all this.
The Rock makes more money in a day than Cena made in his life.
Right. I think Cena's a little bit more relatable in a way.
But how much money you make isn't relevant to how good a movie is. The Force Awakens is the highest grossing movie of all time in this country, and it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
And those actors all got paid tens of millions of dollars.
But think about that. And again, I'm not slighting The Rock for what he does, but The Rock plays himself in every movie. That's his range, is himself and the eyebrow, and he's funny and he's like a specimen. But every one of his movies is he's playing himself, and they're not like, I can't think of movies he's been in where they're not forgettable. Like, it's like you watch it one time and it's entertaining. And maybe I'm missing one off the top of my head, but like
Central Intelligence.
Yeah,
that was okay.
Again, I'm not slighting him.
Blockbusters like Arnold did. He had the big 80s and 90s blockbusters, but I think he grew from a blockbuster to the next blockbuster to the next blockbuster.
But when you talk about like The Rock, I also feel that way about Stallone, Van Damme, Schwarzenegger. There's no range on any of them.
Stallone's a little different because he actually
Stallone had more range.
Directed his movie.
Rambo.
And he was nominated for Oscars.
Over the Top. Those are some favorites.
I think The Rock is like a fun action character, but his range of emotions he shows is about this far, whereas Cena was like literally like was all like when that scene with Eagly. There's no way Rock does a scene like that and you take it seriously. Like, there's no way Rock pulls off that
with Cena because he's a 280-pound mammoth of a beast. You just don't see these people. They don't exist. Like they exist, but I mean they don't exist.
Right.
All
No,
of us
But
can't
his,
go
but
knock on the
his
door
acting,
and see a
but his
270
acting
pound guy.
was
I mean,
way more developed.
I can see
Well, you-
Cena
He
being a
is
little
kind
bit
of a
more.
meathead, right? Like they're
He's a
all
little bit
meatheads
better
in that
than The Rock.
in that way, right? Like that's how they grew up. They're jocks.
All right,
So
I'll
they're
put it
not
this way: if
in
The
the
Rock
same
was
boat
Peacemaker,
as drama
there's no
school
way
kids.
this show's as good as it is. If The Rock was Peacemaker, this show is not as good as it is at all.
I
Not
don't
even
know. I
close.
think it'd be cool. It'd be neat to see.
I don't even know if I would have watched it.
I'm so happy with it the way it is that it would be silly to see. But I mean, I'm sure we would have enjoyed it just as much if it
A
was
scene that
So-
we'll never see,
after
but could
what James
happen.
Gunn would have picked.
Peacemaker meets Black Adam.
I think this
They're
role
in the
was
same
made for
universe.
Cena. So and he's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
we'll never
I
see
think
it.
there's
tell
those
me a
guys will be in
scene
the
that The
same
Rock
universe
has
for sure.
done.
I kind
Tell
of
me a scene
expected that because
But put it this: tell me a scene that The Rock has done that's the equivalent of him crying over Eagly, or Peacemaker shooting his dad, or the conversation Peacemaker had with Leota. Like, and again, I've seen a ton of Rock movies. I don't think Rock could have pulled off any of those scenes at all. And again, I'm not sliding him. He's for what he does. He's great at what he does. He's an entertaining.
Did you watch
action
his
hero.
show? His TV
His what?
show?
He had
No.
an HBO show. It was pretty good.
It was actually very good. Like he acted in that show, and a young kid played him as a kid,
Mhm.
and then
you're talking about the other show. Okay,
the Rock show. What was
Get
The Rock? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, but it was
no,
based.
I thought you were
It
talking
wasn't
about
a comedy.
Ballers.
No, not Ballers. There's Ballers, and then there's like the show that was like based on The Rock.
Yeah,
It was
I know
like
the
a
show you're
sitcom
talking about. It's on
that came out
Peacock
for
and
10
NBC.
weeks.
Young Rock.
Yeah, like it was a big popular show, but I mean, he acted
Never
in
heard of
that
it.
as himself, who was running for the president of the United States. That was part of the spoiler, part of the story in the TV show,
Mhm.
and he actually acted pretty good in that. But he was acting as himself, but just a little over.
But that's what I'm saying. He plays himself in every movie. Like,
Well,
he's just playing himself.
It's not up
And
to
it's not
him.
a slight. Again, I don't want anyone to think I'm not slighting it. I enjoy watching The Rock. I think it's fun, and he's a lot of fun to watch, and he's funny. I just think Cena is in a different class than those actors.
I don't know, man. He's going to make more than one or two movies to kind of kind of a point, right?
I'm sure he will now.
Like all the cast in that movie has more acting experience than John Cena does. Like every one of them. The janitor probably been in more shows than John Cena has, right?
But
I think he's been in 2 or 3.
But no, I get what dude's saying about, Dwayne Johnson has not, like, a lot of his films are action. Sometimes he's making fun of himself. Like, with the one Journey movie, he's like, he's doing like the peck
right
that he does.
Yeah. And Jumanji and Jungle Book and all that stuff.
Like, it's a lot of the quick jokes, but I mean, like, as far as like drama, more of a dramatic presence, he really doesn't have one. I mean, the closest we might see is Black Adam, because Black Adam
can be a little darker.
Yeah, he's very darker because he was a hero. He turns to darkness. He's trying to find, because in the comics, Black Adam is going through darkness, doing whatever he can to try and resurrect his wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's probably going to be the most dramatic range that we'll probably see in The Rock, because a lot of
I look forward to that then. Yeah, that'll be fun to see that.
Because I was thinking of Walking Tall. A lot of it was very much The Rock's personality written in it.
Walking
Even though that's a remake of a movie.
One,
I mean, the most dramatic scene is probably when he opens up his shirt in the court and you see all the scars from when he was attacked.
I mean, you got the what's it?
That was probably the most dramatic part.
I don't know. I think if you look back, he did. I don't know if it was
Scorpion King. He did.
He was in the sequel to Get Shorty.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And that
was that.
That was an early one.
That was the John Travolta about the
mob. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
He played like I think he played like a gay bodyguard,
like a either bodyguard or like
who was trying to get into acting.
Yeah.
And but I mean, again, it's kind of making fun of.
He was 100 pounds less then too. Like now he's
his macho. It was him making fun of his macho.
And I like that he's self-effacing. You know what I mean? It's not like he's The Rock and he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate it, and I think he's really funny in movies, and I
do
enjoy
too.
him. I don't know, man. I just Cena. I just feel like he
can see
ascended to a
Cena-
whole new level with this show. And I don't like I watched wrestling
I'm
all the
gonna
way growing up until
say as
about
he's
2005
good
when I
for
was out of
these
college.
Yeah.
these
And
funny
so I never really
house
watched Cena.
shows.
I could see him kind of being, and don't shoot me for this, almost a Bruce Willis type of thing.
Yeah,
he's
I
a-
think
he's
that's
a
fair.
funny
I
guy.
think that's a fair assessment.
Because, well, like, okay, think of Peacemaker, and you know what kind of pops up in my head? Did you ever see The Last Boy Scout?
Yes, totally.
Okay, that kind of like he's serious at times, but he also has a lot of great one-liners. I could see Cena maybe doing like that kind of like a PI that's not, things don't always go his way, you know.
Oh, it
I
has
could
to
see
be
something
like
that.
Eddie Murphy. Even like
Oh,
he
he's
hasn't
got
done
a
dramatic movies until like last year, like until
he's got a
recently.
movie with Jackie Chan.
But they're still silly, like to them because
I'd
they're
watch that.
comedians,
You know,
right? So
I'm going to pull up IMDb. I'm just curious
comedians.
at Cena's schedule all of a sudden.
I think he'll be at WrestleMania, and hopefully he shows up in his Peacemaker costume.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Why not?
Comes up with a new move,
Fighting Cody Rhodes.
Peacemaker.
If he shows up, it's going. He ain't wrestling. There's too much money in him for him to wrestle.
You
I
never
think
know. I
he's
mean,
good though because I think he's under contract, and WWF would start
Rock
to give
still
him
occasionally
permission
shows
to
up, so
be
you
in
never know.
Peacemaker.
Yeah, occasionally.
All right,
Like
dude,
The
check,
Rock owns his own rights now. It took Hogan
Mm.
40 years to get his own name back, and The
Dude.
Rock it took him 10 years.
He's only a year older
before
than me.
It didn't have to say WWE's The Rock in every movie The Rock did because it used to have to
Mhm.
be like that.
Yeah.
They
dude,
owned him for so
he's
long.
in he has 6 movies right now that are post-production, pre-production, or filming that are
Including
due out in
Wile E.
2022
Coyote.
and 2023.
Oh
Yeah,
my
there's a
God.
movie called Snafu,
No.
a movie called Argyle, a movie called The Independent, a movie called
Freelance.
Freelance, Wile E. Coyote, and The Jansen
he's-
Directive.
So
I wonder if that's like
all to Netflix,
a
huh?
play on, maybe that could be a comedy, like a play on the Bourne identity.
Bourne.
Maybe. I don't know.
So
That's
it
just the
sounds-
first thing that pops up in my head.
Well, and here's the thing. Like, again, I don't really think I've ever watched him wrestle because I really probably stopped around sometime between 2003 2005 really watching it. But like, I don't really know John Cena except from a couple things here or there. So again, that's why I was so impressed with him.
Okay, guys. I was
Uh-oh.
just trying to be funny. I was trying to be funny.
Uh-huh.
The movie, that directive movie, the Jason directive, it's based on a novel written by Robert Ludlum, who is the one who wrote the Bourne books.
Yeah.
He'd be good in that kind of role.
Yeah.
Or like a movie if it was a one-off.
Former
Not
Navy
one-off, but
SEAL
a
and
movie
prisoner
as
of
opposed to a
war.
show.
So he's a former Navy SEAL and POW. Paul Jansen works as a corporate security consultant, but when an assignment to rescue VIP goes wrong, he's forced to go on the run. I can see that
Kind of
'cause
like Gina
I like them in,
Carano.
well, I
Like,
like them
she's-
in The Marine.
She's
which was
great
years
in
ago.
movies, but she's not like a superb actress, like
Yeah.
gonna win awards and gonna get
She's a
those kind of
terrible
roles.
actress.
No, but the movies she
She's
does,
a
where she's
terrible
playing
actress.
like a
dude.
meathead person that beats up people, and that's
Yeah,
what your
she's
role
good
You mean
is.
like in
that's-
Deadpool?
like Arnold
She-
and The
Like in
Rock
Deadpool?
and John Cena, like they can
Deadpool
only
was-
play those roles because of how they look and
Well, Deadpool was a good
Her
role for her
livelihood.
because she didn't talk; she was physical. Like she's not a good actress. She's good physically, and she's good as like in an action scene. But like her talking was no.
Yeah, she was
She's
like
not a
chewing
good
on a
actress.
toothpick the whole time.
I think
Right.
Ryan Reynolds was a terrible actor, and he made Deadpool cool because
Well,
we
dude,
didn't have
you
to
also
see
don't
him.
like Ahsoka, so I mean, you're
Ahsoka's a waste of ink
Yeah,
on
dude,
a
so
cartoon pad.
you're out.
Most real Star Wars fans don't like Ahsoka. It's not just me.
I think that is the most insane take ever.
She adds nothing to Star Wars at all.
I mean,
And before
She's
she
like-
was there, Star Wars still existed, and it doesn't change the story. So
Ryan was born to play.
She will
Deadpool. I mean,
die
he's just got that
before, like,
smart. He's that smart ass.
it matters.
You know, like I didn't like him as Hal Jordan. I did not think he was a good fit for Hal Jordan as Green
Yeah, I agree. But that movie wasn't written well either.
Well, that was just a horrible movie. He could have been. He could have been a good Hal Jordan. But that movie was.
But Ryan Reynolds
all
also
of his
plays
movies
himself.
were horrible.
Pine would have been a better one.
He made
Chris Pine would have been
190
great Hal
movies.
Jordan.
They were all horrible except for Deadpool. Really, like until like 2010, all 120 movies he made were terrible. Like he's just
like
a
Van
huge
Wilder.
funny
I like Van Wilder.
Yeah,
Van Wilder was really fun,
Waiting,
dude.
Waiting was good.
Waiting,
but I mean,
yeah, it was
not.
okay. Van Wilder was fine, but Ryan Reynolds plays himself in every movie.
Free Guy was
and,
great. I left my ass
accolades.
off in Free Guy.
I haven't seen Free Guy.
I haven't seen
He's very
Free Guy
good
yet.
at that. At that role, like, and
but no.
What I really like about him is he brought the dirtiness to the superhero movies. Like,
yeah,
we didn't really get no F-bombs here and dick jokes and that's what I enjoy so much about this Peacemaker show is it is that kind of Kevin Smith universe, Deadpool universe. Like it's kind of part jokes and
it's a rated R superhero
4 times a show. Like,
but it's that outer fringe
that way. Yeah,
it's that outer fringe of superhero stuff that like that dirt and grime and muck that you don't see or hear about. Like somebody might talk about, oh, there's this weird dude with a bucket on his head or something.
We got a full season without the Karens and the cancel culture stepping in.
Yeah,
which I think is amazing in 2022. Well, that alone, I think, is phenomenal.
Give it a year.
I can't imagine
they'll find something.
How much I would have loved this show if I was 20 years old. You know, if this came out, 20 years ago or 30 years ago, like how fun it would have been back then. Because there wasn't movies like this. Like there was, we had Rocky, we had movies, but we didn't have this funny side. Like, we had Steve Martin movies and Eddie Murphy movies. That was kind of close as we got to
Beverly Hills Cop,
having some action and comedy together, right? And then Arnold didn't bring all the super comedy, but he later did in like Twins and Kindergarten Cop, and he started becoming this guy is funny. This guy can do total funny stuff. He's not just Conan and robot Terminator guy, right?
He could cross over and not just do
like
like an R-rated movie.
Oh yeah. And even who's the last person we were talking about too?
Bruce Willis.
Stallone, we kind of brought in that category too because he ended up becoming beefy in every character he ever did, right? Like it just it just worked out that way.
Him and Kurt Russell and
another funny guy.
That was I loved that movie. They were both funny in that movie,
Yeah, Tango and Cash was solid.
And Romancing, was he the one in Romancing?
No, that was a Michael Douglas.
And Escape from New York.
Escape from
New York is Kurt Russell.
All those Russell, they're all the same family, right? Kurt Douglas, and they're all brothers and uncles and cousins. All those guys, they're funny as heck. Like those guys made great movies in the 80s and early 90s. Action heroes, little fake Indiana Jones movies.
I'll tell you though,
they're funny.
Michael Douglas had some pretty sick range, man. Like 2 of my favorite Michael Douglas movies are Falling Down.
Look whose father is
Down.
Douglas.
Right. But Falling Down, dude, and watch that as an adult. Like watching that when it came out was one thing, but like seeing that now as an adult, I'm like, dude, I'm like
you get that on such a level
from Falling Down.
You agree with it so much.
It's a very talented family, all those guys, man.
But the other movie he did that was amazing is The Game.
Oh,
with Sean Penn.
With Sean Penn.
That movie is amazing, dude.
I was working for General Cinema when it came out.
Really?
And I probably saw that 15 times because I was working at the theater. You'd wait for people.
Seen that.
You'd wait for people to leave, and you're like, wait, well, it's one of the last movies. So I'm sitting there watching. Like, it's just an awesome movie. I mean,
it is such a good movie. So to me, those are like Romancing the Stone's a fun 80s movie, and you know what I mean.
Turner,
Kathleen Turner is great, but like those 2 movies, when I think of Michael Douglas, I think of Falling Down.
That was Zemeckis, in fact. I want to say that was Zemeckis.
I think it might have been. It might have been.
But no, I think a lot of the action stars, they're most like Mikey and Houston said, most of them are playing themselves.
And they get stuck in those roles too. Not a rut.
Unless you show time after time, you can play other you have more range, like a Michael Douglas.
Well, a lot of people like back
agree,
then.
Mike.
A lot of times, you would get writers who they have a concept. They're like, okay, now I need to figure out the dialogue. They're going to write with certain actors or certain
Right.
actor types in, like, oh, hey, I'm going to write this. I really think Schwarzenegger would be great in this. Oh, I think Eastwood is phenomenal in this, and they're going to write with that person's voice kind of in their head because they don't want it because they may not think
dialogue was superb.
if I
every
write like
episode,
this
right?
person's personality, they won't, this is going to be easier for them to kind of do, not much of work,
No,
but it was part of the team too, like the co-starness of this series. Like there was no
it was cast so well.
Yeah, there was no just episodes that were solely on one actor, and because we've seen movies where it's just one actor the whole movie and then a couple of those.
It was an ensemble. Yeah.
Yeah.
Each character had their own arc and development.
Yeah.
Which is rare.
And they worked so well together with their one-liners and the comebacks, because even though we didn't think the scene was going to be funny, the partner right beside them said something that made the whole scene funny again. And that's what made the show for me.
And I was like surprised that it didn't feel like it was John Cena's show. Like I felt like it was their show.
I agree.
It was an ensemble show.
Yeah. Like I was like, because before the show started, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna see John Cena like 90% of the time, and then
that's what I thought too.
It's gonna be John Cena and friends. Hey.
Right, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
And the thing is, and that goes back to the point, is we were scared any one of them was gonna, like, we were scared that Economist was gonna die.
Yep.
Like, and who, if you told me when I started watching episode 1 that by the end of the season I'm going to be stressed out that he's going to die, like, I was like, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible. What I think it's a true ensemble cast, and that's why I think that core will be back, and then they'll probably add some layers into it. Some other cast members like they typically do, but Judo Master has to come back too, and but I don't. James Gunn doesn't seem to me to be the type of guy to then just do Butterfly Part 2. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it'll move on and have some kind of a new layer to it, especially now with that Project X, with Leota totally redeeming herself and making everything public. And so now Peacemaker might be seen as a hero. Like, what if he now is seen as somewhat of a hero, and how does that affect him? Does that change him?
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Waller's called out now.
Yeah. Now, doesn't that happen in the comic? I don't know much of DC Comics, but doesn't that happen in the comics?
I think it happened to an extent, but here's another thing. If maybe Argus kind of like quietly says, okay, we want you to stay low for a while. And what if they approach the daughter to kind of be, because she's already announced that she was part of Argus, and she kind of brought all this attention. Now, we're going to ask your daughter to kind of be formally like involved with the company, because she already outspoke. We need to kind of turn this around. We need to spin this. So maybe they do something to try and keep her involved, because obviously she has rapport with Peacemaker. Now Peacemaker's pretty much saved the world. And maybe there's could be play some of that. That could be interesting.
I'm betting she goes back to be a veterinarian.
But if she's more of like an office person, maybe she would.
No, I think her arc is now that she accepted that she's good. She says, "I'm good at this." Like, I think that's part of her.
She even says, now. I'm good at this. She says that line. I'm good at this.
I don't know. I feel like there's going to be, at the beginning of the season, there's going to be some major twist, because Amanda Waller is not the type of person to not plan,
be cool,
to not plan several steps ahead. And she knows your daughter. So if she knows her daughter,
character,
I would not be surprised, because we're not going to see Viola Davis for a whole season, But
we didn't see her. We didn't see her for the whole season practically.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, she'll come in and it's going to be something where she sees her, and she's going to be like, "Hey, I kind of had a feeling you were going to say something."
I could see Stallone laughing his ass off at the show and saying, "Hey, give me a small part. I'll come back and
give me an episode." Yeah, I can see also The Rock is kind of making a cameo in this show, or Cena somehow getting into another DC universe, as a cameo, just to kind of help keep the peace. Not keep
I
the
don't
peace,
know.
but just keep the mind boggling
Like-
about. Oh,
But
which universe is this?
I can
Like,
definitely see
may-
something where Amanda Waller's coming after the whole team. Where
maybe like Black Adam's destroying a bunch of stuff. Peacemaker season is like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Do you think they make another Suicide Squad movie now or a
I
TV
could-
series?
I can
And
see
the
it.
series they could explore different characters, new
I think
characters.
they might explore one or two other characters first before doing a Suicide Squad. Maybe.
I don't think the universe is dead, whether
No.
it's a movie or
no, it's
another
not dead.
show.
Well, we know
like the
Margot Robbie's not going to be
Peacemaker,
coming back anytime soon to Harley. She said that publicly. So
Yeah,
there's
I'm
been
honestly
different
good.
iterations.
her bank account
good
gets
if-
smaller every day. Everyone never have it.
Well,
There's
there's no
always
more Will Smith.
Tom Holland is now saying he's not sure if he wants to play Spider-Man and he wants to take a break for many years, and that just means he's negotiating a contract.
Yeah.
Or
He'll be back.
Well, he wants Robert Downey Jr. money, and you know what? I always side with the labor. I mean, I know it's silly saying I'm siding with the guy who's worth hundreds of millions, but if it's versus the billionaires, I'll side with that guy. Yeah,
I mean,
he's earned it.
Well, Tom Holland, I mean, I don't know if you ever seen any of his training videos. He can do the cartwheels, backflips, and a lot
That's
of
how
the
he- that's
Spider-Man
part-
moves himself.
that's
That's
part of
how
how
he auditioned.
Yeah, that's how he
yeah,
got the
Robert
job.
Downey
No.
Jr. did blow for 30 years. Like he didn't do that.
He trained.
He went a
Yeah.
different
route.
Classically
Yeah.
trained.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But he turned out to be, a top actor.
Perfect guy.
In
He was a perfect
Pop
casting
culture,
choice
right?
for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about a guy who co-starred with Rodney Dangerfield.
Mhm.
I mean, he's been in so many different movies, so many different roles. There was a movie called The Judge
Well,
with Robert Duvall as
320s,
his
yeah.
father. That's a great movie.
You know what movie I always remember Robert Downey Jr. in is Weird Science,
Yeah.
being one of the
One of the-
80s
one
bullies.
of
So
the
those
kids,
two
yeah.
idiots, yeah.
Yeah.
What about
Making fun of
Air
them
Oh,
all.
America?
that's such a great movie.
Air America is
Dude,
a
Weird
guilty
Science
pleasure
is
of mine.
all-timer. Yeah, I love
Bill
Weird
Pa-
Science.
Bill
That's one of my
Paxton.
favorite.
And it was
Yep.
a small
Michael
role
Hall.
too. He wasn't a star of that movie. He was just
Yeah.
a little.
No,
Jet,
but
yeah.
he
Side
stood out
character.
in that movie.
He did,
Like you remember him in that role. He made such an impact in that movie.
Weird.
He played.
Weird
I mean, we're talking about a guy who played Charlie Chaplin in one movie. Was it The Heart and Souls, where he plays a kid who's got like all these imaginary friends who are actually ghosts?
See,
He's
I
all
don't-
grown up. I mean, he's done so many different things.
Downey was a great actor. He just got himself into some bad habits and decisions. You know what I mean?
And
But like at the same
cleaned
time,
himself up.
it's
So
it's a good redemption story. And honestly, the MCU exists in part because of him in Iron Man. He was perfect.
it wasn't
He was
Favreau
perfect.
and him. Favreau
Yeah.
and him. I mean, that's what it boils
Yeah.
down to.
Well, and if you saw like the behind the scenes, Disney did not want him. Favreau had to fight for Downey
Yeah.
Jr. And Favreau was 100% right, man. Because I remember watching it. Because at that point, we were getting like superhero movies. You're just like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and that movie just jettisoned to a whole
It
new
kinda-
level. Because you had the first two Blade movies that were amazing.
Yeah.
You had the first two X-Men movies that were amazing,
Yeah.
and then you had the Dark Knight trilogy. But then, other than that, it was just there was nothing special. And
Well,
then that
I mean,
movie,
look
because
at
Spider-Man.
the first Iron Man isn't about Iron Man; it's about Tony Stark, and that's what makes
Yeah.
that movie so incredible. Is it's
What
about
made it
Tony
the best
Stark's
one,
journey.
yeah.
I mean, it's to me. I think the two best Marvel movies, and you guys can shoot me, Iron Man and Captain America: The First Avenger. I think those to me are two of my two top favorites.
They're great
Still.
movies.
They're good
I mean,
movies.
don't
They're great
don't get me
movies.
wrong. I love Infinity War and Game. I love all those, but
Yeah.
They're
me,
more
my two
intimate
favorites-
movies versus like
Yeah.
massive like tentpole.
Because
You know what I mean? Yeah.
you got the rich boy who has everything, and he's finding out that oh wait, I'm responsible. My company's doing this. I'm not even aware that they're doing this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It's kind of like,
Yeah, I
okay,
like-
yeah, I'm kind of a villain. I need to do something about
Well,
this.
not only
And then-
is he not aware, but he was designing the weapons for it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But
And Steve
Yeah.
Rogers, I mean, let's face it, I was that asthmatic kid who couldn't really fight or do anything when I was a kid. I was the one who was always kind of on my own for a lot of things. And I mean, I sympathize with Steve Rogers. And
Mhm.
it's that kind of story where you're like, okay, yeah, he's put in a situation and he's making more of a difference than you could ever imagine ever doing in your own life.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think that's what really did
the
it.
ones that introduced all the characters. So the first Iron Man was a good one. The first Captain
Thor
America
was pretty good.
The
Thor
Captain America
good,
Winter
but-
Soldier brought Winter Soldier into it, and he's one of the better actors in the
I really liked
MCU.
Winter Soldier. I liked a lot.
And then the big ones at the end.
All three Cap movies actually were,
They were
Civil
pretty
War
good
too.
movies.
All three Cap movies were amazing.
I like when those took place.
Dude, honestly, I think my favorite MCU movie though is No Way Home. I like.
I still
I
haven't seen
really
that yet.
that movie. So I won't say anything, but legit, I'm not. I don't cry. Like I genuinely like my girls have seen me cry like 3 times. It's because people died. You know what I mean? Well, 2 people died, and one was our cat when he died last summer. That tore me up. But I'm just not like that. And I literally was doing face exercises at 2 different parts of No Way Home, like legit doing face exercises. And for a superhero movie to evoke that, it blew me away, dude. Absolutely blew me away. I can't say enough about. They nailed. If you read Spider-Man comics, so to me, part of why Spider-Man's, I don't know that he's my favorite, but he's in like the top 3, is because no matter what Peter Parker
character.
But no matter what Peter Parker does, if Peter Parker tries to do good, he gets punished for it. And even if he saves and does well, no one's grateful, no one appreciates him, and he gets something bad happens to him for him doing good. And if he makes a little mistake, he gets punished 10 times for it, right? And it's the whole great power, great responsibility thing. And so I actually feel like I have Peter Parker luck, where no matter what I do,
in the 90s cartoon, even in the 90s cartoon, they portrayed it. Oh yeah,
nails it, right? And so that's why I have always loved Peter Parker, Wolverine, and Doctor Strange have been like my 3 favorite, like my whole like growing up into adulthood. But they nailed the essence of the great power, great responsibility, Peter Parker and No Way Home, and it transcended a superhero movie to me. It really did.
That's cool. I really look forward to seeing it. I wish they'd hurry up.
No spoilers. I mean, I hope that doesn't spoil it, but I mean,
it's 2 weeks.
it's amazing.
It comes out.
I can't wait to see it again. I literally cannot wait.
Of the Marvel's version of Logan that they've done too, and Hugh Jackman. I've always liked.
Dude,
he's one of my favorite Marvel characters, even though it's not the same MCU. He liked
but it is part of the MCU now. It's all part.
I know, but I mean, the original directors and Feigeverse and stuff like that. But I like
because that was
the actor
the
playing
X-Men, that was
this character.
Ryan Singer, I think it was.
Yeah, Logan.
Ryan Singer did the
Logan
first
was by far one of my favorite Marvel.
Logan is the best
MCU
of
movies.
all. Logan is the best of all the Fox movies, or not Logan to me. The Wolverine is my favorite of all the Fox movies.
Wolverine or
Logan?
Logan?
The Wolverine is my favorite. I love the Wolverine.
No, I
Logan
like
was great too. I like Logan.
I loved Logan.
I think Logan's a better movie,
Yeah.
but I like the Wolverine. Like the Wolverine, I liked way
Don't get me
more.
wrong,
The
Wolverine
his origins. In Canada, of course. I like
The Origins one was awful. Dude.
Going through
with the Deadpool at the end with the
Yeah.
mouth shut. I was like, how do you do that? Like to Deadpool.
I have a liking to all these movies that end up being made here in Vancouver. I tend to have a softer spot.
So you have a Vancouver bias towards you have a Vancouver
it's
cinematic
not that.
bias.
It's just that most of the shit is made here now. Like,
right.
That's when I remember being made here. There's big green screen set
It's
up.
okay to have a bias. It's okay to have a bias. You can say,
dude, I have a bias towards Chicago-based movies. Being a Chicago kid, totally.
Amen.
I get it.
Amen.
I don't think
get
that
it.
one Vancouver actor who played male cop throughout season 1 here, I'm pretty sure he won't be back. Because
all those guys are gone.
He got his head ninja chopped in half.
Yeah, right in half. Yep.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I guess
Mike,
he's not coming back.
I love
Tyler Loughlin, I think is his name. Because he was on Twitter tonight. He's like, come on.
He's appeared in so many shows as like he's appeared in so many shows and plays a total dick in like almost all of them.
Yeah, look at his IMDb. Like he's been around the block on the television and movies.
I will say the one thing I'm bummed about with Peacemaker is I absolutely love Detective Song. Like her character was amazing when she started throwing white guy names at
yes.
Oh my god, dude! I was dying laughing, but I loved how. And then at the end, where she's like, "See ya," and then the guy goes, "Wouldn't want to be you," and she looks at him and she's like, "I had that. You're an idiot."
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I loved her snark and her delivery. And so that and again,
But there was
I'm not mad.
but there was like a
This
but
whole
I'm
was her
bummed she won't
episode.
be back.
But there was like a whole arc just to her trying to get back at the dad. Like it started off with it was like, oh, you fork, and then they walked away, and it was like,
fork.
You probably should.
Damn, I should have did better than that. Yeah,
I would have
she
been.
didn't get it at
Oh
first.
damn.
Yeah, she had her moment today in this episode.
But then she got
she
so
was
much
great.
Because that was the one
my
scene that took me up and down, like on that emotional roller coaster. Was her like her acting?
She nailed it, dude.
She
nailed that scene with him.
How
did
when she touched his face?
Yeah,
I was like,
when she touched his face, man, she was like, talk about range. She's got amazing range, dude.
It was a good scene for her, and I appreciate that.
I hope we see her in more stuff.
And
man. I think
she didn't get her head blown up, but I think all the hosts are dead, like completely. So maybe we see a little bit of a thing next year. I'm just throwing this out there for fun, like because we like all these characters now, including the police that are dead, right?
Right.
All three of them. The three funny characters had great episodes. Maybe we get a little episode that has a little bit of a backstory to some of these characters. Like we see Economos, a little more backstory, or Hardcore, a little more backstory. Because I guess those are the two characters we don't know a lot about. Economos was in the movies, but
I'm sure that they will layer. Yeah, I'm
she's
sure
got a few
layer.
projects. She's got a few projects in pipeline right now. She's got.
They're all still alive, but I mean the cops. How can we see the cops again unless it's a flashback to something?
So she totally proved her chops. I don't know how much of her fight scenes were her versus stunt double, but like the fight scene with her and Judo Master was one of the best fight scenes. Like that was incredible. That fight scene, like
jumping off the walls, both of them.
Oh my god, yeah, dude! Like they were flipping, she threw him into the toilet, and then I love when he's punching her, and then it's like remember the Joker
smiles?
when you're punching the Joker, and she smiled like that. I was like, holy shit, dude, that was like maniacal the way she did that. I hope we see more of her, man. She's fantastic.
She's got about 4 projects right now in production.
Does she? Yeah, she should.
IMDb.
What if in another James Gunn show that he's rumored to do based on the
she
same
shows up
universe,
and she's cast as a different character?
No, but the cops, it just goes back in time to just before the butterflies, and they show
that would be interesting.
Another story arc with another Suicide Squad member or something, right? Like.
Or Goff takes a new host, and the host is seeing the memories from the previous hosts.
That could be something too. Maybe they retain the memories of their past hosts.
Or part of the personality is like there's a presence of that human's personality.
Or they learned from that. It kind of becomes an amalgam. Because that would be interesting if Goff ends up inhabiting someone else, but then Goff is like fully on Team Peacemaker at that point.
Well, that's what I mean. I can see Goff infecting somebody every episode.
Yep.
Just to help
maybe Goff has a realization. Okay, our plan failed, but I still want to help this world.
I still want to help.
This is where I am. This is my home now.
Yeah.
So
go infect the president of the United States, right? And then boom, let's see what kind of series we can have out of that. With an infected president trying to change everything.
I do. It's about 11:15. I do got to get up early for work, so I want to close this out with each one of us making a song prediction for next season. So to pick a song, so I'll go first. Give you guys because I thought about this. So I'm going to stick with my Talk Dirty to Me because they've teased Poison so many times and haven't come through. But here's what I think it will be the scene when they get together. But the juxtaposition is Peacemakers being very tender and like romantic and just like talking about like their connection and bond. And then she just starts slapping him around and it like treats him like an object. And like, I think the juxtaposition of that with Talk Dirty to Me playing would be pretty funny to see play out. So that, again, who knows I have no expectations for season 2 other than I trust James Gunn to make an excellent show. But so that's my song prediction and maybe how they work it into the show.
I bet they move the music because we see the music has been a major theme. Even the lyrics to the songs, as James Gunn's and point out on Twitter, mean something to his writing. I bet you he bounces ahead 10 years to like late 80s, early 90s hair metal, like whether it's
some of the
Twisted
music
Sister
that
or
they
Motley Crue, just a little more into, because he would have listened to that music too, like guaranteed, right? Like
They did
he
have
didn't
some
stop
modern
listening
music as
Yeah.
it went on.
at
they
Poison.
did have
you
some
know,
modern music in this episode too.
This
One
yeah,
of
but I
the
episode
don't
they
think
did.
they got
featured.
past like 1990 really.
No, they did 2011. There was a song from
Oh, was it?
2010. Yeah, in
Okay,
this
okay.
episode. Yeah. Yep.
Well, maybe that's the shift. Maybe this episode is
They'll
kind
have
of a
fun with
shift
it, yeah.
to like another set of
Yeah.
another set of music.
Well, because maybe part of Peacemaker evolving is because, like, to me, that 80s hair metal, 80s, 90s rap, 90s alternative is like
Yeah.
my core foundation of music. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you always love the music that you have memories tied to, right? And it's
Yeah,
part
yeah.
of that part of your life. But maybe part of Peacemaker's character arc is he now gets into new music as part of it too. So that would
Or
be fun to see.
let's hear some of the other characters' music
That's
that
what-
they love.
That's exactly
Because
what
it
I
was
was going to
always
say
kind of his
too.
music, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
No
Like,
wrong
What's
time to
hardcore?
rock,
Yeah, what's
you know?
hardcore into?
Because my thing is going back to what Dude was saying, and like I don't know, maybe hardcore loves like 70s,
For sure, yeah.
like
Jazz
R&B
or
type.
something. Yeah.
Like I was thinking like, you know, taking that scene that Dude was talking about, but not having that, instead of having that music, be having like
What if she's into like
Rick
NSYNC?
James, Super
Yeah,
Freak.
exactly.
What
It's
if
like,
what if
Britney
hardcore's
Spears
into
or-
NSYNC and
Oh, yeah.
Backstreet Boys and
Yeah,
stuff like
All
that?
the boy bands.
Super Freak. I say Super
Rick
Freak.
James is from Buffalo. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but overall, super happy with the finale. Like,
Yeah.
it knocked
How
the
did you
socks
like-
off.
How did you like
Ups
the
and
theme
downs.
song being
I
played
almost
during the battle
cried.
scene?
Yeah, the theme
Oh,
song
yeah.
during this
Yeah.
episode. And
Yeah,
the
it
shield
came-
coming out. Yeah, it was
With the
badass.
shield coming out, dude. Yeah, dude. I love the battle. And then when she was shot, they muffled the music
Yeah.
Yeah, quiet
and
it
then they
down.
kind of slowed it down a little. Yeah, I thought that was a neat touch to it, man. But I liked it. I thought it brought the song full circle.
Yeah.
But very happy to hear yesterday or the day before they confirmed season 2's coming. So
Yeah.
that just made me think, yeah. And I knew that before I saw the episode. So
Yeah. I'm
two
like,
bonuses.
dude, I'm like, just so long as they don't do Butterflies Part 2, because
Yeah.
No.
sometimes
It's-
some DC properties recently keep going longer with certain stories
For sure
than
they
they
do,
should.
Starro.
You know, you can have the butterfly show up, you know, kind of be like,
Well, have Goff
I
still
bet-
be there.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, keep Goff alive, man. I think that would be cool.
I could be the next major
Yeah,
popular
but- 'cause
character
you have-
next
you have
year or
Goff
2 years from now.
and Judah Manson.
You never know.
Yeah,
You saw me here
but then,
first.
you know,
Peacemaker's own
then-
Suicide Squad with
Yeah.
Judo Master and Goff
See,
takes over a new body.
I'm good with them going away. I didn't like either Suicide Squad movie. I thought the James Gunn one was like entertaining, but it like I watched it and I'm like, it was entertaining. You know what I mean? And I watched it
Yeah.
because it was James Gunn, but like I like that Peacemaker is its own thing, and I hope it continues and has its own spirit and thing. And I think it'd be cool to have have Goff back, have Judo Master in,
Yeah.
but then it has to introduce something new, because
Sure.
part of what makes the show good is the character growth that happens. So there has to be something that goes on that causes character growth again.
A
for
new
them to
alien
continue.
threat.
It doesn't
Well,
even have to be alien.
I don't even
maybe.
have to
Like
be
who
alien.
knows?
But
Because
I
Yeah,
think
anything.
that's what I
all
was-
Suicide Squads have been alien. This show's been alien.
Yeah,
so I
pretty
think
much.
There's a theme with this
But
universe.
but in the DC animated movies, they have had other elements, criminal elements,
oh, Joker.
mobster elements, Joker.
Joker.
Well, yeah, Joker's your gangster type element. I mean, you could have Arkham Asylum.
Mikey nails it. Kenny G.
Oh God,
I wonder
sentimental.
what kind of freedom he has to say possibly
That would be great if
create
Hardcore loves Kenny G.
create a new superhero character.
Or
Like,
a
Yeah,
supervillain.
Peacemaker's
sure.
an existing character. Same with
I'm sure.
Vigilante, and
We
Judo
find
Master.
we find out that he
Was
has
White
a half
Knight-
brother.
yeah,
half brother,
was
Bas-
White,
who's like a
here's
straight
something
up
I
villain.
thought of. What happened
played
to
by
Peacemaker's
Arnold.
mom? What happened
Yeah.
to Peacemaker's mom?
Ooh, yeah.
That could be an interesting arc for the next season. Is him whatever that involves. You know what I mean? But I just
Which
I
trailer
never
park
like
does she live in?
when version 2 is
Zombies.
just a rehash. Like this
Zombies,
time
yeah.
there's more butterflies. You know what I mean? Like it like
His,
but James Gunn is so creative. I don't think he would just rehash it and make it
his
butterfly too.
There'll be another kaiju.
his brother and dad come back as zombies.
I definitely think we see his dad next year too.
Was this deceased?
As a headline cast
Is this
member.
deceased?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
but it's a program run by Amanda Waller
in his mind.
Of
Marvel did it better.
Super Army zombies coming after them.
Well, I mean,
I
give the Peacemaker take on Solomon Grundy. That would be fun. That would be a fun fight.
Oh, maybe
bring in Arnold for that role. Just older version of the character.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm pumped for more of this, man. This is a great universe to be watching every week for the past 8 weeks.
Oh hell yeah!
So good, man.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
We
for more
need
of it.
16 episodes next year.
Yeah, dude. I
sure. Let's do it.
So I give the series an 11 out of 10. Arguably I'd say this might be the best show on TV in the last decade for me. That's
superhero show. Yeah.
This year for sure.
None of us thought that this would be that good. I mean, John Cena.
I had no expectation at all.
Yeah.
I was told I would like it personally because my buddy kind of knows my taste, and he's like, "Oh, you'll like it. It's it's funny and whatever." He can't say anything right when he tells me this stuff, but I know he likes what I like, or no, we have similar tastes. Much like I know you guys, everyone has a similar kind of like for what's pop culture,
except for Ahsoka.
So I didn't have high expectations. I just had fun expectations. Like he's like, "Oh, it'll be funny as fuck." Like he's like, I had to go find record props and things like that. It just sounded like he had fun making the movie. So why wouldn't it be as entertaining to watch, right? And
I just watched it because it was James Gunn. I'm like, you know what? There's nothing else on right now.
Guardians,
I'll watch it. And I remember I watched the first episode and I was like, oh wait, there's 2 more. And I watched all 3 at once. I couldn't stop watching it.
As soon as I found Chance, I was like, all right, because I wanted to see it because I liked the second Suicide Squad movie, and
it was funny.
I liked John Cena as Peacemaker in it, and when I heard there was a series before I even saw the movie, I was like, all right, well now I got to go see it because I have to see what they're going to do, because I don't know what's going to happen in the movie, so I need to find out what's going to happen, So I'm like, so yeah. But no, this, like I said, I'll give it 8 out of 10. It was, there were some missteps, but it was
one of
the best movies.
Perfect, but yeah,
no, and to me, 8 out of 10 is a pretty damn good number for a TV show nowadays. So,
I mean, I got to go with 11. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, to me, it blew because my expectations were down here.
Mine too.
The basement. Yeah. And it blew me out of the gate. First episode, I'm like, okay. And you, like we were saying before, you kind of know certain things are coming, but you don't know what shape they're going to take.
Right.
And everything just seemed very fresh.
Yeah.
And did we really think that Judah Master would live all the way through the season?
No.
I mean, great to see him in the end.
Out of the main characters, we lost one main person.
Yeah,
Mern.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
and the 2 cops were main players in the show too. But
and Detective Song was a bummer to lose her. Yeah, and then we lost his dad. But here's what makes Peacemaker good is other shows like the Disney shows would have saved the death of the dad till the last episode too. Like it would have backed everything up to that final crescendo because they want you to keep paying through it. Whereas like having that get resolved in the episode before the finale allowed you to focus on the finale, which was the cow. And I just think that's where his storytelling is masterful. It makes me even more excited for Guardians of the Galaxy now. I think it's almost unfair because I'm so excited for that. I'm probably going to have unfair expectations of that movie going into it.
I really enjoyed those movies too, and I think mostly it was the casting group of the actors that were on the movie.
Yeah, they did a good job.
More than the writing or the directing or the cinema. It was well made, top of the line, futuristic, superhero.
James Gunn likes wrestlers.
But the actors, when they're charismatic and they're funny and like Batista, like it was Groot.
Yeah, Batista was awesome as Drax.
Rocket, all these
Batista's been good in a lot of different stuff, actually.
Well, but I think
a bunch of things.
But I think
James Gunn having fun.
But I think James Gunn is really the key linchpin here because he knows how to truly work ensembles.
And
even get
ensembles.
People, and even get people that are not the best. not even get the best actors. They're not even some people may not be the best actors, but he's able to get what's best
He
of
maximizes
the actor
them.
out of them, like a Dave Bautista.
He knows how to write
agree.
for them. He knows
Who
how to
would've-
write for them, to direct them, and the music. Like, look at Guardians. Look at Peacemaker.
Yeah, it's what made
Everything's
that,
just
yeah.
been perfect. It's just
He should get a special award for his casting skills, his ensemble skills, if you want to call it that. Like, I think they have awards like that, like best cast overall, or however they word it, like in silly award shows.
It shows you that
for that, because I agree. I think that's the best feature between this and the Guardians and the Suicide Squads he did was the casting. Like he must have had a big part in all that, I think, for it to happen. Because he might have wrote it knowing, oh, yeah, I'm writing this role, knowing John Cena's going to do it. Like, I'm writing this for my girlfriend, or you know, or this guy I saw in a movie once, like on Hell on Wheels, that actor who's playing a cop. Like, this guy's funny as hell. I know
it shows that he doesn't have to just stick to movies now. He's like, well, wait a minute, I did 8 episodes. I can do TV shows now.
It's definitely a future of the media. I think we're going to see a lot more Disney Plus, HBO, Netflix series.
A lot of episodic
by original creators.
I mean, 8 episodes is it's just a really extended movie, almost a mini series. And obviously the future is digital. Let's be honest.
It's more time for him to tell the story and have these characters develop as opposed to just in 2 hours. How many characters can you develop in 2 hours? Really, just the one main character.
And it kind of helps
he
him.
Did it, but I thought in Guardians he developed everybody in Guardians.
Yeah,
in the first one. Yeah, I mean, like everybody had their own arcs and they all worked together.
I bet you it was longer than 2 hours though. Like, just trying to think.
It's like 2.5. Yeah,
and he's done 2 of them now, right?
Yeah.
So he's had. Like, the first one definitely focused a lot more on the main character, rather than throwing all the Rocket and Groot scenes at us every 2 minutes. They were just eye candy, but yeah, fantastic movies. I really liked them.
2 hours, 2 minutes.
And I didn't know a lot
Guardians.
of the actors before that movie.
The first Guardians was 2 hours, 2 minutes.
Okay, good.
And the second was 2 hours, 17 minutes.
And the music was great in those movies too. Like,
oh yeah,
good on James for doing everything he does.
I had to buy my wife the soundtrack.
I had to buy my wife the movies for both, so just because of Greek.
That too, yeah.
The cassette would be cool.
Yeah,
I'm sure they make the cassette, right?
Well, I want to thank you guys for hanging out each week and talking about the show. Oh, look at that group bust. Nice.
Yeah.
Now we got to find another show now.
Yeah, like what am I going to do to fill the void? I guess we got Moon Knight coming up in a month, so I look forward.
And I'm going to recommend the Bel Air show that just started coming out. I think I've seen the first 2 episodes.
I'm a little apprehensive about it. How was it?
It was actually really good, man. After the first episode ended, I'm like, oh, the next one's available?
Basically, a series.
And the first one, I think, was 2 hours long. So it was good, man. The actors were good. I don't know. I just thought it was cool, man. There's not a lot of good shit on now. So
I know I'm looking forward to Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Obi-Wan.
And now they got John Williams making music.
I'm this close to buying that sideshow one that
the Mythos one.
The was Apprentice Ewok got the one with the older
with the backpack and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm really tempted to get that. I've been looking at that.
I'm sure they've sold a few over the past week since that poster came out.
Well, they got a $25 off promotion. On
yeah, Smallville was garbage, over. Mikey.
So I'm like $25. That's kind of tempting. So
yeah.
There's a lot of tempting stuff out there right now. That's a whole. This could open up a whole other Pandora's box. But I want to say thanks to everyone who hanging out in chat. Thanks to you guys hanging out each week talking about the show, man. It's fun to have an outlet to talk about something that I love so much, man. And I appreciate you guys hanging out and everyone watching. And then tomorrow night, check out 3 Men and a Monkey Lizard on Salacious's channel. And then Saturday night, Night Owls will be in the Nerdery at 10:30 Eastern. So check that out as well. So I got 4 straight nights of streaming. It's kind of a record for me.
Wish me luck this weekend because I'm going to Ohio to see my niece's robotics competition and I'm planning to get some targets in Ohio. Maybe I'll get some luck because I'm on the hunt for those retros.
We made a bunch of offerings last night, so they should be rewarded.
There you go.
Restock your own shells now.
Nice.
All right,
nice.
you guys got anything coming up that everyone should look out for?
Got this guy coming up.
No.
The box is being made now, so get
I've
your
been
jizz
sharing
band
it.
pins.
No.
I've been sharing it.
And I'll try and pop on and do some more art. I got to ship out a couple of packages, but
Any
hopefully
Peacemaker
next week.
pins in the future? I'm just saying.
No, but maybe I'll send James a message and see if I can do one.
Got to have a double piece.
Double F and
There you
piece.
There you go.
All right, thanks everyone for hanging out. It's time for Dude to go to bed and get my butt up for work
Good night.
tomorrow.
Cheers,
Thank
everybody.
you guys. Later,
Okay,
everyone.
buddy.
See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peacemaker.
The dude compels you to make your offering to the toy gods.